my other platforms up, so bear with me if you will. I got to get my other socials going, and we'll certainly get the program. Tonight, we're going to be on Instagram, TikTok, and of course, YouTube. So bear with me for a minute here, and we should be going momentarily. Boy, see if we can get this going. Um, you see what we got a couple. We're going to talk about this one more than anything. I want to talk about this, but we'll go back to it anyway. Let me get my screen going here so we can talk in a minute here. Good evening, Creed. You are first. You're the first one in here, Creed. Shout out to you with the stars and stripes there. None of your flags are upside down or on fire, so shout out to you. Okay, so let me see here. We're going to be talking about the notion of deporting them all. That's the phrase you're hearing. People are saying deport them all. So we're going to talk about that. Um, and whether, if you come in the country illegally, should you be deported under the guise of no ifs, ands, or buts? We're going to be talking about it from that standpoint as well. So give me a quick moment here to get the live stream going. What up, Ryan Q? And I'm assuming you're not Q in terms of the far right version, but good evening to you. Almost ready here for the show to begin. So it's been a busy day with the likes of Jeffrey Epstein. Wow, that is starting to be the conversation that keeps on giving. Um, it has been a busy day with that. Busy. What is today? Wednesday. Busy week. Probably a busy week. Trump is constantly trying to make that go away, and we're going to talk about it from a standpoint of successful at making that go away, because he definitely wants people to stop talking about it. But um, shit, most just about every conservative content creator is now on board. They're hammering him over that. So we'll see about that. Let me go ahead and start to get the last stream going so we can get this party going, so I can get everybody else to join you folks on YouTube. So we'll go ahead and get the, oh shit, what did I just do? What the hell did I just do on Instagram? Okay, something did not work right there. So now I gotta start something over. Okay, that ain't right. God damn it. Okay, don't know what happened there. We'll just go backwards there. We'll do it on Clapper. I'm not gonna goof around with that Instagram shit. Okay, we're talking about deporting them all, so we'll go straight to that. And I apologize for you folks that I'm not on. We should have been on. We should have been live already, but my decided to take a picture. When you're still learning shit, you yeah. So indeed, we should be make sure all of this good stuff is going, and we're going live in 3, 2, 1. What up, folks? Once again, it is indeed your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. I'm gonna make sure I get my Wi-Fi going and turn off other. Okay, all right. So we should be good to go now. We're gonna be talking about a tale of two conversations. Number one, there's no way around it, but the Epstein situation continues to have life. Continues to have life. I get it. There's a lot of twists and turns to it. The Trump administration is now saying it's a Democratic hoax. Wow. We're going to talk about whether you think it's a Democratic hoax or not. But the right is also saying, if this is so important, why did the Biden administration not release this information? You know, if Trump is on the list, why didn't Biden release it? Because Biden certainly did not want Trump to win. We talked about this last night, but I'm coming to you because Trump is saying that they need to stop talking about Epstein altogether. He said the guy's dead. We need to move on. You know, all of this. So what I want to ask you folks is, first of all, do you think it's a Democratic hoax? Do you think there really is no list and that the Democrats made it up, which is what Trump is now saying? Now, let me make something clear. In regards to why didn't Biden release the list during his term if it was so juicy? Folks, understand Epstein passed away on August 10th, 2019. So he had already been dealt with in regards to his affairs, given a sweetheart deal. So they already were coming after him for abusing kids. He did get a sweetheart deal that nobody believes he deserved. But he was indeed incarcerated where he lost his life or his life was taken or whatever you want to suggest. But all of that was done by August 10th, 2019. Why am I bringing that up? Because Trump did not leave office himself as president during his first term until January, I believe, 20th, 21st of 2021. That means Trump had almost a year and a half after Epstein's death to figure out if there was a list and potentially release it himself. And then Biden got another 4 years on top of that not to do this. So the idea that Trump comes along in 2025, some 6 years, we're almost 6 years as of August 10th of this year, it'll be 6 years since Epstein passed away. Trump comes along in 2025 and says no list exists. There's a bunch of things that are going to be brought up. First of all, if no list exists, why didn't you say this during the Biden administration? When all of the right-wing podcasters and folks who support MAGA wholeheartedly were all over social media, hammering the government, demanding that they get transparency on Epstein. It was happening under the Biden administration. Everybody from Candace Owens to Glenn Beck to Ben Shapiro, Megyn Kelly, all of these folks were demanding information come out about Epstein. If you knew it during that time that no list existed, why wouldn't you say that? Why would you not say that? If you knew it was a hoax, why would you not say that when you knew most of your party believed that this was real and was demanding that you be the savior and give information once you got elected? Why wouldn't you say something about that? I'll leave it to you folks because I'm going to submit this. I'll submit this question to you. Now that Trump is saying it's a Democratic hoax, no list existed. I'm going to ask you, if God forbid, for my beloved MAGA, I know you don't want to hear this, but let's say God forbid, Kamala Harris or Joe Biden got reelected in 2024. Do you think Trump, if one of them two was in office right now, do you think Trump would be still calling this list a hoax? Do you think Trump would still be saying the list didn't exist if Kamala Harris or Biden was in the White House right now? Or do you think he would still be demanding they be transparent and release the names on it? Because he is saying right now no list exists and the Democrats made it up. If a liberal is in office, do you think he'd still be saying the same thing? So we're going to talk about that. But I want to ask this question as well before we start taking callers and dealing with you folks in the comment section. You know how the program is ran. We don't block, ban, or censor. We indeed are a MAGA-friendly program. Been MAGA-friendly since day one. Always have been, always will be. We go left of Bernie Sanders to I'm having dinner with Q. Everyone gets to speak. You can be critical of anyone on this program, up to and including yours truly. Liberals are welcome as well, as you may be aware. What I want to give to you folks is another an odd comparison, or some might even refer to it as selective outrage. As you may be aware, there was a huge outcry over the protection of women's sports, suggesting that there is no way in hell a biological female should ever have to play against a biological male in sports. This is the whole transgender wanting to play female sports argument. There's no way in hell a young girl should have to play against a biological male in sports or compete. We all understood that, at least some of us sensible liberals. The independents understood it, and MAGA obviously supported it as well. But I want to ask this question. If you're okay with strongly defending the integrity of women's sports, why would you want a list that might actually itemize people who sexually assaulted young girls to go away and not be talked about? If you truly are for protecting the integrity and the safety of young girls, why would you want people to stop talking about this, where there actually are likely people on this list that are walking around free as we speak that could be injuring others. Why would you suddenly want that not to be talked about? You're okay with defending athletes in sports, but not actual assault victims? Can somebody explain how that works? Because that looks oddly, it just looks weird. I don't understand that. Trump should be the last person after this lengthy period of time of how much he wanted to protect women in sports. He should be the last person saying, let's stop talking about this. So I do want to hear from you folks on that. Last but not least, the notion of deporting them all. This is a phrase you're hearing. It used to be build a wall, deport them all. I want to get an answer from you folks. Do you support the notion that if you enter America illegally, everyone that entered the country illegally should be deported? In other words, there is no judgment placed on it. Treat every single person that entered this country the same way. Deport them all. Doesn't matter the circumstance, doesn't matter why they came here, doesn't matter how they've been since they came here. If you do A, B must happen. I want to find out from you folks if you see it that way, because the polls are in, and the polls suggest that while people favor how Trump is defending and protecting the border, they have a difference of opinion on somebody who ran across the desert and got caught versus grandma that came in the 80s and been living here as a sweet little old lady since the 1980s. The polls show that the American population as a whole have a difference of opinion on that. And you can see it on party lines. The further to the right you go, the less sympathetic folks are towards these people. The further to the left you go, the more sympathetic. We can talk about why that is. So I'm going to ask you folks about that as well, deporting them all. And last but not least, this is kind of an off topic, but the guy is in the news all the damn time. Donnie, he's the guy over in New York that's running for mayor, getting all of this support. And he's running similar to Bernie Sanders or AOC, promoting socialism. Thank you for the monkey. I'm assuming that is not, somebody sent me a monkey. I haven't seen one of those before. I'm assuming that's a good thing. Thank you. I see the monkey pop up. Wow. Okay, so I'm going to ask you folks, though. This Donnie guy. Tim Ian. Okay, it's not Tim. Okay, all right. I just saw a monkey. I'm like, some people have a good, affectionate meaning for posting a monkey. Some people do not. So I always have to ask. So I want to ask this question as well with this guy, Donnie. Do you think it's possible for someone who is openly not capitalist to win high office in this nation? Do you think it's possible for somebody who is not a capitalist? Now, Bernie Sanders claims to be a socialist, but I don't know when he got that position years ago, I don't know if he revealed that back then. I'd have to look into that. I'd have to do my research on it. But do you believe someone who is not openly capitalist or even speaks negatively of it could actually win a high office? Talk about all three of those things. As always, feel free to tap the screen. As always, follow the program if you're watching on TikTok or Clapper tonight. And certainly smash that like button if you happen to be tuning in on YouTube. So look it in the comments before you start taking calls. I don't have to look it up. I've seen him saying he would release it multiple times the last 2 days. What are you saying? Look up what? I hope he doesn't get elected in New York City, says the traveling man. We're gonna end up talking a lot about capitalism versus socialism tonight and all of that. But I'm asking, can you win a high office if you're not a capitalist? No men shouldn't be in women's sports, and I'm not Republican. I'm the same way, but defending women in sports and not women that are being sexually assaulted makes no sense to me. So going straight to the box, we'll start it out with Stick, the ruler. Good evening, Stick. Welcome to the program.
Hey, what's going on, Tim?
And not much at all. Deporting them all. Do you believe that anyone that entered this country illegally or that is here undocumented should be deported? No ifs, ands, or buts.
No, I don't think that, Tim. I mean, my thing is this. My thing is this. If you came here in a sense, illegally, because that word is getting thrown around.
Yep.
Um,
Thrown around heavy.
as long as you haven't, yeah. As long as you haven't committed any crimes in the sense of doing things, doing things that doesn't affect the citizens of the United States. I don't think they should be deported.
But what about, okay, you said as long as you haven't done anything illegally, what about the notion that the thing you done illegally was entering the country?
And I get that, but also people would say if you enter the country and you touch the soil, you can't claim asylum.
Yeah.
And they're trying to use that to say that that's illegal, but it says it in the books. I mean, we wrote them. We told them if you touch soil, and this is what's going on in your country, and you fit the criteria, you can claim asylum.
I think Trump has basically ended that for every country that existed for. Afghanistan, Nicaragua, Cuba, Haiti had it. I think every single country that had that protection, that if you can make the U.S. soil, you get to stay. I think he ended that for every one of them.
And that's true, and that was his intentions. That was his intentions. So at the end of the day, he's made it where basically any way that you come in, whether it's legally, like you're at court trying to become a citizen, they can come snatch you up. So, like I said, that word illegally is being used so loosely right now that it's not that Democrats or the left just want people to pour in. It's the point of tighten your words up. If you really trying to say something, like make it clear. Don't just boldly throw everybody into it. Because I can boldly say that the whole entire Republican and or MAGA or conservatives are racist, but I don't. What I say is most racists are MAGA, but not all MAGA is racist.
I don't buy that most racists. Well, I don't buy all MAGA. Well, I'm getting tongue tied. Speaking of racism, I want to ask you this. The dude in the comments says, speaking of racism, he says, can't wait until Trump legalizes slavery. I will buy a couple. And then he concludes by saying MAGA. Do you think MAGA would support slavery in the country? Because here's a viewer that clearly does. And he's claiming to be MAGA.
So again, apparently there's some that do. Yeah. Just like I said, I said all racists are MAGA, but not all MAGA are racist, right? So that lets you know off the ripple.
I don't think here's what I disagree with. I mean, because you can be Democrat or independent and be racist as well. You can be, you and I, or me and some of my viewers disagree, because some folks suggest that you can't be racist as a black person. I disagree with that. So I don't think that all races are MAGA.
Well, let me explain this to you, Tim, and I'm probably sure you didn't heard this before.
Sure.
Black people can't be racist.
I don't agree with that.
The reason why we can't be, I know you don't agree with it, but I'm going to explain to you why we can't.
Sure.
Because racism itself is a system. And the system, we don't control it. So we can't be racist. We can be bigoted. We can be prejudiced. But we cannot be racist because we're not part of the system. The system was built and basically maintained to contain us. Whether it's systemic racism or whatever you want to call it, it's not for us. So racism, no, we can't be, but we can be bigoted and we can be prejudiced.
Yeah, but you're saying that based on your explanation, racism can only operate in an area where it's systemic. You're making it sound like one person individually cannot be racist.
I'm making it so you understand that one individual that's black can't be racist.
Okay,
he has to have that system to back him up, and he does not. Whether he's black or not, he don't have that system backing him.
Yeah, I gotta vehemently disagree. I'll tell you this. While you were talking, I just simply typed in on Google definition of racism. Now, this is what came up. It's a noun. prejudice, discrimination, or antagonism by an individual, community, or institution against a person or people on the basis of their membership in a particular racial or ethnic group, typically one that is a minority or marginalized. So the point I'm saying, like for instance, if you in when you're in the slammer, I guess, for lack of a better term, folks, if you're in the penal institutions, there's a lot of racism against white people because they are the minority in there. A lot of things they probably can't do because they're outnumbered by blacks. I don't. There's plenty of places in this country. Go ahead.
Actually, again, see, that you cornered yourself, and the reason you cornered yourself is because I don't care what prison system you go to, whether it be federal, whether it be state, whether it be a jail. 9 times out of 10, the people who are running it, which is the system, are of the white tea persuasion, and you also have that small group that you're talking about that actually runs the actual criminal entity in the prison.
I don't see that.
Again, it's a system that we're not a part of, that we don't get to enjoy none of the fruits of its labors because it's against us. So we just can't be. I'm sorry. I know it sounds weird.
Okay, wait.
I know that you think.
Yeah, because I think there's so much. I think there's so much missing. So if you have a club on your side of town that is, frequented by blacks, it's a straight black club, but some white person wants to get in there, and the folks in the club are threatening violence, won't let the person in, as occasionally beats up white people. That's not racism at all.
That's being prejudiced and bigoted.
And if that happens to
simple.
Yeah, I think we're making up terms to not call blacks racist, because if that same event happened to a black person, they're going to refer to that bar as a racist bar. They're not going to say it's prejudice and bigoted. They're going to say that's racism.
No, they're going to say it's racist only because 9 times out of 10, and I'm saying that like literally saying 9 times out of 10, that bar or that club owner is of the other persuasion and not of the brown persuasion or the tan persuasion or the black persuasion. It's owned by somebody that called the system for the system to come pick their ass up.
Yeah.
So I mean, this is
what if you own a business and you don't hire white people? That's not racist?
No. And the reason why it's not is because guess what? Whatever business you got going on and you don't hire any white tea people, it's only because apparently they're not needed.
What?
Like you go to a Chinese restaurant. If you go in a Chinese restaurant and you see a whole bunch of black people, do you think the Chinese food is going to be authentic? Do you really need black people in the back? Or do you need to see all Asian people?
I mean, I have never been to a Chinese restaurant where black people work at anyway, but I get the point.
Okay, that's my point. Is that racist that they choose their own kind to make their own food?
Well, you're talking about hiring based on experience, though. If a black person can show that they grew up in Shanghai and they know how to make the food and all of that and speak the language, and they still don't get the job.
Hey, all I'm gonna say is this, Tim. There's nowhere that you can go. Pretty much, there's nowhere that you can go other than Mama's Kitchen or something like that, where you're gonna find that there's the white tea persuasion back there with spices and salt.
I mean, I hear your
season the food. Come on now, stop.
I hear your example, but I think you're, like I said before, I think for blacks you're making up other words not to call it racism. If Home Depot did not hire black people, we would say Home Depot is racist. But if a black company doesn't hire whites, you're coming up with all these other words to avoid calling it racist, even though it's the same thing.
But listen who you just said. You said Home Depot. Home Depot is a major conglomerate.
What does that got to do with it?
Like, it's not because they're part of the system. Again, that's just like saying Amazon or anybody. Anybody that's that big, you're part of the system, period. There's no ifs, ands, buts about it. But now if you want to talk about...
What system is Home Depot part of?
The conglomerate of being part of the United States.
What?
They're protected. Yeah, they're protected. They're
okay. What if it was a small mom and pop business, a white business, but it was a small mom and pop white business that said they did not hire black people? Would that be considered racist?
They're okay. Yes, because it's a white-only pies goddamn establishment. But if they told Ray and Clown, I'm gonna turn you into end pies. Yeah, that's what they own.
So if a small white establishment does not hire blacks, they're racist. But if a small black establishment does not hire whites, they're not racist.
Look, where's that small black business gonna be at?
You think you're making excuses for black racism?
No. Actually, tell me, where is that small black business gonna be at?
In a black neighborhood, maybe.
Okay, then. So what's the problem? Just like if I go now check it. I go to any establishments, mom and pops or big conglomerate, and they're in a white neighborhood.
Okay.
Am I expecting to see all black folks working there? No, I'm not.
What does that got to do with it?
But guess what I'm not gonna do? I'm not gonna give you the fallacy that there's gonna be this one white guy that wants to go to the hood and work. Stop it. He don't. He was probably one of the people that was at the what's the lady that goes around and let people know that they're racist? The white lady, and she will tell you.
Oh yeah, the old lady. Let me somebody who is part of the system. You said on system. Tyler Perry is part of the system. He's been welcomed to Hollywood. He has his own studio. He puts out a lot of projects. If he chose not to deliberately not to hire whites, would that be racist?
I would give him bigoted. I would give him prejudice. I'm being honest. Because guess what? At the end of the day, you can't find a Tyler Perry movie that don't have a white woman in it.
Oh my God. I hear what you're saying, but I think you really are trying to ignore or overlook the possibility that blacks can be racist. You and I disagree on that. Go ahead.
I'm really not. I'm really not. And then on top of that, we're not inherently racist. White folks can be, some, not all, some can be inherently racist. So what it all boils down to is we are those people that embrace everybody. We embrace Miss Harris during her run. They tried to say that she wasn't black. They tried to say, she said she was Asian. But her dad is Jamaican. And so my point to being is, if she gets pulled over by the police,
she's black.
What are they going to say across the
She'll be black.
They're not going to say, we got an Asian lady here. We got a black lady right here. We got an African-American female, tag number such and such and such and such. They're not going to go all into, are you really,
No, I don't. Yeah, you and I.
Asian?
Yeah, you and I.
Agree,
you and I agree that I don't. Kamala Harris was born in America. If you're born in America, nobody's going to look at you and say you're Indian and Jamaican when you were not born there. I don't know where, other than just the other answer. I got to move it on, but yeah, you and I agree on the Kamala Harris thing, but we disagree on the racism thing.
And before you get off, before I get off, let me just say this, Tim. When it comes down to the list, we heard what the previous people had said before they got into the cabinet, into his cabinet. So they said we're gonna release it, right?
Right.
That's what they said. Then they get a hold of it, And Elon apparently he went in there and razzle dazzle with them hackers. So we all know what it is. Elon told us he was on the damn list. Yeah. Then they get the list. Then they say, "Oh, you know what? He ain't on the. It ain't no list." And then on top of that, guess what it was? It was a hoax made up by Barack Obama. So again, either it's a list, either it ain't a list, or it's a hoax. Yeah. One, two, or three. Give me one of them, and I'll tell you to your face, you're a goddamn liar.
I can't argue with it one way or another. They lied about something, and they're trying to. This is what happens when you lie and you double down on the lie. Eventually, it comes out, and the only thing Trump can really say is just stop talking about this shit. You know, just like you get caught up.
Yeah.
You know, your girlfriend catch you up or something like that, and you just walk away because there's nothing you can say. So you're trying to end the conversation. That's kind of what he's doing. But Stick, thank you for coming through.
Yep.
Right.
Hey, one last
Real
thing,
quick.
Tim. I'm gonna make MAGA real mad. Hey, I thought y'all wasn't supposed to be giving anything to the Ukraine. What's going on?
We'll see.
That's all I got to say. MAGA, explain yourself.
All right.
Ukraine got them things.
Appreciate it. I will in a short bit of defense for Ukraine, or for Trump rather. I'm gonna put on my MAGA hat and defend Trump slightly by saying, as opposed to just giving the Ukraine weapons, the weapons are being paid for by NATO member states. So unlike Biden, Trump is not just giving the Ukraine weapons, he's selling them to them. So there is a slight difference, but they are getting weapons from the United States, which is something Trump originally did not promise to do. Will G says, Jim Crow is a perfect example of racism. You mean to tell me Black Wall Street was racist? Well, yes and no. Black Wall Street is a whole different animal than what's going on now. First of all, you opened up correctly by saying Jim Crow is a perfect example of racism. Then you bring up Black Wall Street. Well, if you got laws that say people don't have to deal with blacks, then Black Wall Street is really just playing by those laws. So yeah, Black Wall Street existed during the time when a white person can put a sign in the middle of their store that says, we don't accept blacks to come in here. So yeah, then of course, Black Wall Street can say the same thing. So it's racist, but it was racism at a time when racism was legal and acceptable. If you created a Black Wall Street now, it's a little bit different because now they should be able to come to Black Wall Street and patronize those businesses. Just like you can leave and go to anywhere in America, and you know they had the Green Book and all of that shit back then, where you couldn't travel across the country and feel confident you could stop and get gas if your car went out. That's not quite where it's at now. Some might argue we're headed back that way, but we're not there at this point. But and also too, just like the DEI and all this affirmative action and this other stuff, if you hold one group down, the only way you can ever hope for things to be equal is you're going to have to give some special provisions to that group. The special provisions you give to them is going to be viewed by others as being racist. I mean, it's as simple as that. If I say, black people cannot own businesses for 100 years, and then once we lift that up to pursue equality, we say, well, we're going to make it so that black people can now own businesses a little bit easier than the process it would be for whites. Well, modern day whites are going to say, well, that's racist to me. I wasn't around when they were being held back. That's what's happening, is that modern day whites don't like affirmative action and DEI. They're going to say, well, when my grandfather was benefiting from the fact that no blacks could get these jobs, I wasn't alive. So I shouldn't have to pay for the misdeeds of my grandfather, who was guaranteed to get jobs and blacks couldn't get them. So it is somewhat racist, but that's the only way you're going to ever have equality to catch up for literally hundreds of years of oppressing that person. So you kind of got to do that. I always use the example before I take the next caller of playing a game of Monopoly where you let only one person go around the board 100 times or more, buying up all the properties and all of that shit, while the other person is stuck on go. The other person is going around buying all the property, collecting $200 each time, taking all the money out of the community chance and community chest and the chance cards, just racking it up. So all of a sudden, when it's now time for that other guy to go, the only way the game's going to be fair is to hold that person that's been going around all those times back some. Otherwise they'll never catch up. They'll never catch up. So that's kind of what it's been doing. Looking in the comments real quick. What she says, Black Wall Street was a simple response to racism, right? And the whites didn't want to have it. That is true. That is absolutely true. But that's what it was a response. Going back to the box, somebody is suggesting that I wear a blonde Trump wig. I'll see what I can do. Let me go to the box. A blonde Trump wig. Wow. Continuing on with the program. Tap the screen, get the likes on up to about 20,000. We can make that happen if you let your thumbs not be lazy. Continuing on with the program, Gangsta Grandma. Nothing wrong with a little bit of mild to fluffy this time of evening, huh, Gangsta? Good evening.
Oh, you always be fluffing. You got that white man all over your fucking protein on, don't you?
I didn't do anything
wrong.
wrong.
Fluffing. Over here saying that Black Wall Street was fucking racist. Where the hell was the racist at? The white man got jealous.
There's both of that in there.
So hell no, you gotta be fucked up.
I think there's a little bit of both of that in there. I mean,
No, Black Wall Street was not racist. Now you get that fucking cum out your damn mouth because that was not racist. The white man was racist. The white man got jealous because black people got their business together and made a little community. And no, the white man got big mad.
Well, first of all, why gotta come and what the hell? I mean, no,
because you be fluffing all the damn time. What the fuck? And you out here saying it's racist. It's racist. Fuck you and racist. And what?
No, I do believe the only way to make things fair after what happened for so long is to literally give the white community, which is what they did with DEI, affirmative action, all this stuff. You have to give the white community a slight taste of their own medicine.
We don't have. And you know what? That's why I give them. I give a piece of their own damn medicine. The black maggots and the white maggots, I be going off on their asses. And I get told, oh, you're racist. Hell, well, no, I'm not racist to white tea, the normal white tea people. But the maggots, boy, I tear their asses up. I'm getting the same damn medicine right back to them.
Yeah, I got folks right now in the comments calling you racist as we speak.
I don't give a fuck. They ain't paying my bills. And I'm not the one that's on welfare. What the fuck?
And real quick in the comments, Elon says, Elon says, Edgy says, didn't you say Elon is full of bullshit? Now you trust him. No, I don't trust him, but I will say, hang on my second, Gangsta Grandma, I will continue talking, but I'm not saying I trust Elon Musk in regards to suggesting Trump is on the list, but I will say this. There's no denying that Trump has told some lies in regards to Epstein, and Elon hasn't been caught in any lies. And Elon has had access to Trump's inner circle, all of the friends that Trump hang around, all of the government officials. It's possible that Elon may have seen some data because he's been in Doge, or maybe he's been hanging around people that Trump hung around that may have actually told him. But Elon hasn't been caught in any lies in regards to Epstein. Trump has. So I'll just leave it at that. Go ahead, Gangsta.
So anyways, and with small businesses, we can hire who we want to hire. I'm black owned. I hire black and brown people. That's what I do. When they get out of the pinta and stuff, I hire them. If they could pass the background, if it's not like, the bad shit, you know what I mean? Like rape or, unaliving somebody. But if it's for like, petty stuff, I can hire them. I won't hire a white man.
But you said a small business owner can hire who they want. So let me ask you this: Can you publicly state that I will not hire a white person? Can you?
I do. I tell people. I have people like coming out of Pinta. They'll call me and they'll say, "This is a good. If you have any openings, so they won't go back into the Pinta. I will hire them. I don't really like to hire white tea people. They got their own shit. They have their own businesses. Why can't they do it like that?
I don't believe that's legal, Gangsta Grandma.
I do. It is. It's legal because I have a platform that says that. But I do have a couple of white tea people that do work for me because they say because of something happened and they had a favor and they're the best ones though.
Okay.
I like those two people.
Real quick for those who happen to notice the monitor behind me, somebody told me I need. Because I'm fluffy or something.
You're fluffy.
Okay.
You be bent over backwards for the white tea, man.
Well, someone told me because of that, I need to just go ahead and put on a blonde Trump wig.
And let me tell you something with the raccoons and the damn thing. Let me tell you something. It's not discrimination. It's what gets your priority. If you're black owned and you're helping your own community, your preference is for black and brown. So get that shit. Now, if there's a white tea man that I know or I can trust them, then I can hire them. If they come out of the pinta.
So are you okay? Are you okay with a white person publicly stating they will not hire colored people in 2025?
That happens all the damn time. What are you talking about, Willis?
I said, are
That's
you okay
still
with
going
it?
down.
Are you
That's
okay with
still
that?
going down.
Are you okay
No.
with it?
The big corporations, no. But you don't understand what I'm saying.
No, I don't.
If you are, okay, look, this is what I'm saying. I have a, like, I go to the fiestas and I tell people, I have like, you know, there's like an organization where I'm at, right? And it's small businesses that get together and they want to help Black and brown communities. So we give them opportunities to get back into, you know, the workforce and stuff. That's what I do. And it's for Black and brown people. What the fuck? We can't have nothing? We have to have the white man up in it?
Well, no, but you can't ask for equality and then you're talking about the white man is not welcome. That's not equality.
That's not. Well, see, that's how you be fluffing.
How is that fluffing?
I'm helping my own damn people. Now, if I have to bring a white man up in it, they can't, you know, white tears, they can't get enough, right? What the fuck do you think the DEI was for? Why do you think that whatever the community shit is, the white women got it? What happens about the welfare? All this shit was for the white man. Why can't we help our own people without being called racist?
Because we call white people who help their own people racist. That's what we call them that do it.
That is, okay, let me tell you something. The white people did all this shit. The white people was the slavery. The white people did every damn thing. So if we help our own people, we're racist. And I'm just saying, like, when they come out and beat us stuff, we help them. Oh my God, that's racist, right? I'm bringing them back into the job market, having them get jobs and having their own shit. That's racist, right? But the snow bunnies and the damn Triple K, we have to have all them too, right? Get the fuck out of here.
Wait. Don't say nothing bad about the snow bunnies now. Don't hate on the snow bunnies.
I know you like the snow bunnies, but honey, let me tell you about snow bunnies. They're fluffy. Don't insult the snow bunny with the white woman, okay?
Okay.
Don't.
What am I doing? What are you suggesting? What are you trying to suggest?
You like the white tea maggots?
I'm just asking a question.
Are you into mega?
Are
you really into mega?
That's
nasty.
What is mega?
That's like uncooked meat right there.
Maybe Megan, but I don't know about mega. What is mega?
I bet you do. Like the maggots. I bet you do.
I'm just asking a question.
I bet they said, I'm going to give you some head, and you over here, I'm lusting over the maggots. I'm not talking about the normal white tea women, but I'm talking about the maggots. I know your asses. That's why you be fluffing all the damn time. You got a little BJ going on?
What am I supposed to do? Turn down some head? Is that what you telling me? I'm trying to get the.
I would if it comes to a maggot. I'd be like, that's salmonella.
I'm just asking. Well, how do you respond to folks who suggest that you look kind of white yourself?
I don't give a fuck. Black comes in every damn shit. That's why they hate us. Black comes in every damn shit. There's black people with blonde hair, blue eyes. Hello. See, that's why the white tea people get mad. Because they go out in the sun and they burn in 5 fucking minutes. All black bodies, we're golden, honey. I can go out in the sun, I get golden. I get bronze. I don't burn.
It's interesting you say that because when I go out in the sun, I break out and itch.
Well, because, you know what, God don't like your ass. You be fluffing too damn much.
What the actual fuck?
The maggots, I'm speaking to the maggots right now. If you defend Trump right now, and he's lying, you know that white tea man is lying. You know this motherfucker's lying. All the things. That damn white tea man that got so caught unalive, he committed suicide. Like, what did he do? He got convicted underneath Trump. Okay? Yeah. He got unalived underneath Trump.
Yeah.
Okay? Trump said, I'm going to release all the files. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to release them.
Do you think he ever intended to actually release them?
Hell no, because his stupid white tea ass is on it. He's effing little kids. And if the maggots condone that, they're all pedos. And they need to be rotting in fucking hell. Whoever's on that list, I don't give a fuck who they are. They need to rot in fucking hell. You know what I mean? And the people that's on it and got victims, they need the justice.
How do you respond to folks like in the comments? I got somebody right now saying the Democrats had the damn list in their hand for 4 years. Why didn't Biden release it?
They can't blame. See how you see how the little maggots are? Like Trump said. Obama made it all up. Obama. No, none of them. The Democrats didn't have the responsibility to release it. Yeah. That was all on the Trump in the first half. Oh, no. We're not going to blame the Democrats. This is all on Trump. Trump is on it. Trump don't want to release it because he knows he's on it.
Do you think it would? But let me ask you an honest question. Do you think it would matter to MAGA if Trump actually was on the list? Do you think that would? I mean, they're obviously not going to vote liberal, but do you think that would make them sway away from Trump at all if he happened to be on the list?
The good ones that don't believe in the shit that he's fearing, they'll turn on him. But the ones that, I'm defending him, there wasn't no such thing. The Democrats, no, the pedos. They're pedos.
Damn.
They're pedos.
Well, I don't know if I want to jump down that bandwagon, but I gotta say.
Okay, Tim. Now you're really fluffing.
No.
How many inches you got? How many inches you got going up your ass without a condom? Because let me tell you something.
What the
You're gonna say, I don't want to take it that far. Let me tell you this. A pedo would defend that motherfucker.
But why?
I'm not a pedo.
Okay, I get your point, and you disagree with me, but why I gotta be involved in anal all of a sudden?
Because if you're defending them,
so
you're defending the maggots are defending that, you got me fucked up. I'll whoop your ass.
So if I agree with MAGA to some degree, that means I'm involved in anal?
You wouldn't. No. Oh,
God.
No.
Jesus
Oh my God. I meant like you're agreeing with he to be a pedo.
Okay.
What the fuck?
You talked about inches going up in my rectum.
Because I'm saying that because you're fluffy.
What does fluffing got to do with getting banged from the back?
Tim, never mind. It went over your fucking head and below your fucking knees.
No, it went over my head and landed in my ass, apparently.
Yeah, because you're fluffy.
You ever heard of the old...
Like that. It's like this. The white man is your bitch. How about that? If you really want that. You know what I mean? Because you be fluffing for the white tea man all the fucking time. And I'm telling your ass, I'm sick of it. You over here trying to defend the motherfuckers, saying, well, let me see about this. No! If they're defending Trump right now over the list and over the files, they are fluffing. And they are maggots and they are pedophiles. That's the damn truth.
But you do realize while you are accusing me of fluffing for the white man, you were a black woman that's apparently trying to turn me out. That's scary.
Well, hey, I ain't gonna lie to you. A lot of guys like that shit.
No, I'm not that guy.
Yes, I do.
I'm not that
If I should go on the corn side, honey, it's called BD. And let me tell you, I can't say it because I'll get banned forever. But it's gonna go yum 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 yum. And yes, and it really is a big old thing. And women get paid a lot of money, but I ain't doing that right now. I'm in, what's that called? I'm in retirement.
You need to be in rehab. So I got to move it on.
I love that, but I'm in retirement. So I'm getting too damn old for the shit. But let me tell you, Tim, let me tell you, Tim, the white man has more power than anybody in this country. They do. Yeah. Okay? They do.
Wait, does that not, I mean, they represent like 60% of the country. You would expect that, right? Any location where the majority is always, if there were 60% blacks in the country, they would have more power.
Oh my God, you don't do it. 60% black and brown people, and we're coming to that. Why do you think the white man's going bipolar? Why do you think they're saying, oh my God, we need to have babies? No, they don't want black and brown babies. They want white tea babies. Because why? Because the white tea women, no offense to you normal white tea women, but you like the chocolate dang-a-lang, okay? They like the chocolate dang-a-lang and they're mixing, okay? And the white tea man don't like that because those little dang-a-lang, you don't hit the G spot no more.
Based on what you're saying, I'm gonna throw out that old phrase. What are white women at? Anyway, I gotta move it on.
I bet you do like it. I know you like the little maggot. Now normal white tea women, you like the little maggot. That's why you be fluffing. That's why you need your blonde hair. You are their bitch, and I give you props. At least you get you a little bit of uncooked sauce, uncooked meat. I can't do it. I ain't gonna lie, Tim. I cannot do uncooked meat. I like my chocolate. Okay?
I gotta go.
I can't do it.
Gangsta,
you have a good one.
You too, Gangsta Grandma. Always, I see Debo like this getting out of here. By the way, tap the screen, folks. She is definitely Wild Cricket. She's always welcome on the program. We don't black ban or censor. So she always makes the perfect example of that. We do get folks on the right that are just as critical. We believe in free speech. Doesn't matter what your opinion is. You don't have to agree with the host or anybody else on the damn program. We will always defend your right to speak. When we say we go left of Bernie Sanders to I'm having dinner with Q, we absolutely mean that here. So you're going to hear opinions on all sides of the aisle, and they likely will be uncensored because that ain't what we do here. We don't censor. Other than the apps have their own little. So if you know, we don't want people getting in here just yelling out the N word or whatever because the apps will censor you. Otherwise, I let you say whatever the hell. But tap the screen. I see it coming. Somebody says free speech or chitlin stuffing. Now I don't want to get my chitlin stuffed. No, I don't. What did the guy used to say? You ever had your salad tossed? No, I don't want that stuff. Tap the screen, get the likes. We should be around 30,000. We can certainly make that happen if you tap the screen, show the program some love. If you're watching on TikTok tonight or Clapper, we're actually on Clapper. If you're watching on Clapper, feel free to smash that like button and tap the screen as well. If you're watching on YouTube, show your boy some love. Smash the like button and we'll continue on. Real quick, looking in the comments. I want to make sure I didn't miss anything here. At least he didn't call all whites incest today. Or she didn't do that. Yeah. Zach, you obviously know who we were talking. She does say that. She does say that too. She uses that granny cat to turn MAGA. Trump derangement syndrome, says Marlene. You know, I'm you know my opinion of derangement syndrome. I think derangement syndrome is misdiagnosed. I'll tell you something. There's a new disease likely coming out later this year. You'll hear it diagnosed primarily by the right, so expect to see it coming from a MAGA medical facility near you. That disease will be named Epstein derangement syndrome. You'll hear people on the right saying that soon. That's probably what's coming next. So expect that latest illness to be on the board, coming from MAGA medical centers near you. Looking in the comments here real quick. Incest is more of a Muslim and Northern African thing than Northern America. Well, she believes it's in the southern part of this state. But you're talking about North America, the continent. They are eating cats and dogs. I seen a post. What did it say? They are eating the list of the people that Epsteined. Something like that. They're eating the list. They're burning the list of the people they Epstein. Pedo defending pedos, just like she said. You know, I don't have a whole lot of pushback to that. I do believe that Trump is more focused on protecting the participants on the list than the people they violated. Because I don't think, now Trump and his administration is saying the list doesn't exist. And I'll go to the box at 30,000. So tap the screen, get the likes up. We can certainly make that happen on TikTok. I'll just say this. I don't believe Pam Bondi, who many are throwing under the bus, particularly the right. I don't believe Pam Bondi did that on her own, where she came out and said the list or the files are on my desk. And then all of a sudden later they're saying this doesn't exist. There's not a lot of independent players in the Trump administration. Most of what happens under the Trump administration is approved directly from President Trump. If he disagrees with it, he is very outspoken and often threatening. He's defending Pam Bondi. He is actually defending her. So my guess is, based on the operation, the method of operation for Trump, is that Pam Bondi was just doing what she was ordered to do, and Trump is now trying to save her from MAGA that's pissed off that she followed orders, but cannot admit to folks she only did what I told her to do. Folks are showing up with binders claiming they got Epstein information in it. I mean, they made it clear, or they certainly made it sound like they had shit. And then when they got called on it, they suddenly had to admit, we don't have shit. That came from Trump. These people, none of Trump's administration operates independently of him. If they're doing stuff, it's stuff that he agreed with. If he doesn't agree with it, he is extremely vocal and threatening about it. And he didn't threaten Pam Bondi for saying she had a list that now they're saying she didn't have it all. He is defending her. So to me, that speaks volumes. She didn't do that on her own. She did that at the behest of Trump. Looking in the comments, though, What about the girl that was from Prince Andrew and she is not around anymore? Imagine that. Maxwell may end up like that. I'm hearing rumors that Jose Maxwell is offered to testify before Congress. She states there is a list and she's willing to reveal the names on it. I mean, she doesn't have anything to lose other than her life. So we'll see what happens if Jazane decides to take a very long nap. But she is stating she's willing to testify about the list. And by the way, if there's no list, why is she in jail? Why is the woman even in jail? Tap the screen, get me up to 30,000. Anyone who disagree with anything I say is out the cult. Diaper Donnie. Yikes. Well, he is now calling MAGA stupid. I'm talking about the Megyn Kellys, the Ben Shapiros, the Glenn Becks. Even, I don't want to say Joe Rogan's not MAGA, but he's criticizing the folks that are continuing to pursue this Epstein lead and suggesting that they have been, his words, duped by the Democrats. They've been tricked by the Democrats, and they're stupid for being duped by the Democrats. So he's now referring to some of the leading members of MAGA. Tucker Carlson's another one. Dan Bongino, who's on his campaign, is another one, or is on his administration. He's calling them folks stupid that was duped by MAGA. I mean, duped by the Democrats. I think it's going to be a hard sell. I really think it's going to be a hard sell. Certainly when he's talking about Barack Obama created the list. You mean Barack Obama created this shit and you're just telling us now? 10 years after the man left office? Or, 9 years or whatever it's been? You're just coming up with that? That literally sounds fabricated. I don't think even MAGA, that does not like Obama for shit, I don't even think the overwhelming majority of MAGA believes that Obama is behind the Epstein. I don't think anybody believes that. That just sounds like he threw something out to divert in desperation. Obama? Really? Anyway, looking in the comments, yes, Trump said Obama, Clinton, and Biden created the list now. Trump's, yeah, that's insane. That's insane that Obama, unbelievable. And by the way, when he said that, this is the first time I've ever heard Obama even tied to Epstein in any way, shape, or form. Just literally said something out of desperation. Pick some liberals and blame it on them. Bish still gets blamed for causing Katrina. Bush still gets blamed for causing. Well, Bush obviously didn't cause Katrina. It's his response time that was terrible. Just like folks blame Biden for his response time in Asheville, North Carolina. I mean, a lot of people lost their lives in Hurricane Katrina, and folks believe that. I mean, certainly when you know a hurricane is en route, you can do a little bit more to help the people. Let me go back to the box. Continuing on with Sunflower. Good evening. Welcome to the program. I can't release it. I am on the list. Yeah, that's what it is. So, better yet, Michael. Mike, good evening.
Hey, what's up, Tim?
Anything but the fluffing. What's going on tonight?
Let's tap the screen share live. Get him up to about 45,000. There's 220 people in here. We can do that. If he has a gift goal up there, let's go ahead and knock out that gift goal while I talk to him about this Black Wall Street shit.
Appreciate it.
There's a couple things you said we need to correct about Black Wall Street. Number one, white people were not prohibited to go patronize in Black Wall Street.
Okay.
They were free to go patronize and go wherever they wanted to. Imagine a place in this country where black folks was telling white folks they couldn't go and they didn't go. It's not a thing.
Well, let me say this. Just like there's sundown towns where it's not official that a black person can't go. There are black areas in this country where it's probably not safe for a white person to go. And there may be residents in the area that would make them feel uncomfortable. But legally, they can go in those areas.
You're damn right. They can go wherever they want to.
Yeah.
Right? So, let's say, let's just be clear about that, what happened in the Greenwood district, because it's important to make sure that people get those facts right. Because Mr. Gurley, that was his name, O.W. Gurley, he went there, bought 40 acres in 1906. Now, he only sold his property to black people. Okay. Obviously, white folks didn't want to live around us no way. So that wasn't a huge barrier for him. Right. And the whole thing went down because a white woman had accused a black man of raping her. And then that's when the whole thing came.
Okay.
So I just wanted to be clear on.
Fair enough.
They could go where they wanted, because when we talk about it was racist, it wasn't racist. You know, sometimes when you tell people you don't want to be bothered with them, and they go over and do their own thing, that excludes you. They didn't exclude you because that was their choice. You wanted them over there. You wanted them on the other side of the tracks.
I stand corrected. Fair enough.
So they prospered over there.
Yeah.
Right. All right. So I just wanted to make sure. So let's talk about this file thing. I literally just got off a live. I'm not going to say who she was, but she was literally crying. She's voted for Trump 3 times. You might even know who she was.
Oh, I like her. I like her a lot. Yes, I know who you're talking about.
She voted for Trump 3 times.
Yeah.
But the fact that he's telling them that he doesn't need them, or and to be quiet, and because of this whole, she feels betrayed. She feels betrayed now.
Wait a minute, no, that ain't the same person. I'm thinking about the person I'm thinking of voted for him twice. Now that's a different person.
Yeah, this person voted for him 3 times. Wow. She had to change her profile. She had to change her profile name. She got into a bet with somebody, whatever. But anyway, she was crying.
What did he do specifically to hurt her well-being?
Nothing. He just told basically his supporters that want to see these files feel betrayed by this thing, right? Because they fear-mongered that the Dems and they're demonic and they're doing all this with these children and all. Yep. That was them saying that.
Yep.
So they're looking for confirmation of that, because they threw the kids in there, even though they don't really give a fuck about kids. But that's a story for another day. So now they're feeling like this list is supposed to prove his point about the Democrats, about the Demorats.
The demon rats, the demon rats.
In the
you know something,
right?
In my opinion, Trump is the one that really fucked all this up. If Trump had took the same path as Biden and just let people talk and didn't say shit, he wouldn't be in this mess. But he's the one that decided to not only play against the Democrats and say they're not releasing something that I will get you. He ran a campaign on doing that. There's all of the things that people wanted, like the economy and border security. He could have campaigned on that shit and said nothing about the list. But because he went around boasting that he was going to get to the bottom of it, he's in this mess.
100%. Everything is self-inflicted. You can't point to one thing that has happened or not happened that's not self-inflicted with Trump. Sometimes shutting the fuck up is the better option. Yeah. And I've been saying it about this dude the entire time. Because people, now he's trying to say it was Obama and the Clintons, and man, how far are you going to go back?
Yeah. And that's why I got a heap of viewers asking, well, why aren't y'all mad at Biden for not releasing the list? And it's exactly what we just talked about. He didn't campaign on it. He wasn't bragging about how he could release it. He wasn't bashing the Republicans with it. Trump is the one that made it sound like he was going to be superhero and bring all these folks to justice and do this. So the idea, well, why aren't you bashing Biden and you're only bashing Trump? Trump's the one that ran on it.
I don't believe that the files were prepared to be released during his term. I don't think they were. I'm talking about Biden. But people aren't talking about that Epstein, that I don't want to say his name on his app, was arrested, convicted, and jailed.
You there, Mike? He may have got a phone call.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, go ahead.
All this happened in Trump's administration.
Yeah.
They act like it didn't happen then, right? So if he's saying they could have, then he could have.
Yeah. And the idea, and the notion of blaming it on Obama, like I said, I don't even think MAGA is buying the notion that Obama created the Epstein list. I don't know what made him go back that far. It's 2025. If Obama had something to do with it, you should have been floating that rumor around years ago.
Years ago. But here's the problem. Here's the problem is that, remember I told you before, sometimes cult members, that they have a moment. Some of them are having a moment right now. They're having this awakening because they don't believe. And then for him to insult them and say, get over it or stop being, he's, like he doesn't matter. Why aren't we spending time talking about him anyway, talking about Jeff? It's like, that's not what you told him.
Yeah.
Listen, I told you before, I'll say it again. And I predicted a lot of shit, Tim. You got to give me credit. But this is the one I didn't see coming. I didn't see I didn't see.
I know where you're going with this, and I got to say the same thing. Out of all of the shit that don't went down, this is what you're pissed off about. I'm the same with you. I don't get it either. Like all of the stuff that's been going on, this is what y'all finally said we don't like.
Yeah, I mean, you know exactly where I was going with this.
Yeah, I don't get it.
I've been spot on about a lot of shit. I am patting myself on the back right now, but this one, yeah, I wouldn't have thought that this would be the thing. I would have thought the Elon thing would have been more impactful than this. I would have thought, and I never would have thought anything about harming black and brown folks would have ever moved the needle. So none of that surprised me. But when I saw Elon, I was like, okay, there's a little creep, there's a little chips in the armor. Let's see what happens. And it was, up and down. But this, they're like, yeah,
this is serious. Yeah, this is serious. They're taking this serious. I would have never ever thought this right here would be the MAGA breaking point that caused so much division within MAGA. I never would have thought that.
But I'm gonna tell you what it also verified for me with MAGA is that they're as delusional, as crazy as I've always thought they were, because they think that this only would hurt the Democrats. Because you wouldn't want to see the list if you thought anybody you supported was on it.
Yeah, I said earlier in the live that if Kamala Harris or Biden had won the election in November, Trump would not be talking about no list exists and we need to stop talking about it. He would still be talking about it. He would still be demanding it come to light. I mean, the only reason he doesn't is now he's in a hot seat, and now that he is being demanded to produce what he promised, he wants it all to go away.
Yeah, and he's saying it on social. Stop with all the E stuff. Just let it go. And it's like,
you didn't let it go.
You didn't let it go. All the derangement, all the stuff. And this was an unforced error. And there is not one Trump supporter with any resemblance of some character could say this is a totally unforced error.
Yeah, and Ray Williams on YouTube, you asked me, am I live? Yes, this is a live broadcast. Ray Williams, thank you for the input. But yeah, Trump is the one that had MAGA and many others hyped up to demand transparency, demand justice for these kids. It was easy to do that when the person being targeted was not him. It was the liberals. All of a sudden, once he won, oh shit, I can't release this list. Now all of a sudden he wants it to go away.
And yeah, you goddamn right he wants it to go away because he's squarely on it. I don't give a damn. Listen, the first of all, I want everybody to understand these files will not all disappear because too many people have seen them. You got to remember, all this stuff was present during Maxwell's trial. I mean, them
files are worth probably 7 to 8 figures, man. I wish I had them files, but the problem is I don't want to get killed.
Well, listen, listen. And here's the thing: you can't be as sloppy as Trump is. This is why you keep shit. You don't keep classified shit at your house and share it with people because so they are. And again,
what are you telling me? You telling me Kid Rock knows who got screwed?
I'm saying that when he takes stuff home, we know that he shares it, right?
Yep.
That's what I know.
Yep.
That's what we know. When he takes classified stuff home, he summarily just goes, "I'm not supposed to be showing you this shit," and as he's saying it on camera, right? So listen, what I just said is a fact. If there's any Trump supporter who wants to come for me, just go Google it. He's been caught on audio showing classified documents, and he's telling the person or the people that he shouldn't be showing them. Is it a fact, Tim?
He did that with Kid Rock. So it's possible he had locker room talking about what happened at Epstein to somebody.
I'm telling you, listen, this is a conspiracy stuff. This is pretty straightforward. So if you support it, this is why I've always told you they don't care about you. Right? Listen, that list should show us that the stats that we know about in this country demographically should fall right in line with that list.
Yeah.
Think about it, Tim. Because listen, the numbers are the numbers. So if that particular crime is done mostly by that particular person or gender or race, then you got to surmise that this list is pretty consistent.
Yeah, the list is gonna be all white people. I get what you're trying to go with.
Yeah, and again, it's going to be more because we're talking about the upper echelon. We're talking about the 8-figure, the 9-figure people, right? Well, ain't too many of us up there, no way.
That is true.
Right. So that list exposes a lot of people, but Trump is on that because he does nothing.
But wait a minute. I'm not arguing that Trump may be on the list, but do you think Trump actually engaged in sex with underage minors?
Yes. And I'm gonna tell you why. Yes, I'm gonna tell you why. Again, Tim, I use my common sense, and here's what I mean by that. If my neighbor had been associated with so many stories, so many things that I've heard in the past, where if I saw a video where he talked about he's the thing he has in common with his daughter is sex, and he would see a 10-year-old and say, "I'd be dating her." If all of those things existed, and then you ask me, would that person be doing that thing? For me to say no,
you're taking a walks like a duck, talks like a duck approach.
Yeah. And for me to say no about children is irresponsible of me because of what's at stake.
Yeah. I get your point, and I get your point, and I cannot deny there is a lot of things that Trump has done that are circumstantial, such as looking at what looks like a 10 or 11-year-old girl and saying, in 10 years I'll be dating her. So if you say you're going to be dating somebody in 10 years, you clearly find them attractive. You wouldn't say that about an ugly kid. So you're obviously looking at somebody that is incredibly young and admitting you find them attractive. And of course, he had his own daughter on his lap and said that if she wasn't his daughter, he would be dating her. On Howard Stern, you're pointing out, he said, me and my daughter have sex in common. I mean, I get to walk like a duck, talk like a duck approach, because I know if Bill Clinton had said all of that same shit, MAGA would not believe that Bill Clinton wasn't on the list. So you got to be able to see it both ways. I do understand where you're coming from.
I would believe all of them were on the list. Listen, what we're talking about is not even about politics to me. These are children. If somebody's on that list, you're better to default that they were involved than they weren't. And I'm just saying, if you're trying to be safe, if you're trying to be prudent. But I'm also say this though, Tim. To your point, Donald and Jeff, weren't they on tape where did Jeff say that Ivanka was a nice piece? She must be a nice piece of ass. Didn't they have a conversation about Ivanka?
I know I think he said something about his daughter on Howard Stern, that he said that, a nice piece of ass.
Yeah, and how would you allow somebody to reference your daughter in your face? No. Man, your daughter's, I mean, it says something about the person, man. Thank you, Sunflower. It says everything you need to know. And even when he talks about his own daughter when she was 6, I can't tell how she's going to be up top. How her breasts. You remember that? Was that what? Was that Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous?
Wait, he said. Wait, repeat what did you say?
When his wife, I think it was Melania, sitting next to him, and they were talking about his youngest daughter. And he said, she's gonna have legs. She probably have legs like
yes, that. Yeah, he did say that. And he said, I don't know about the. And that was on The View. He said that.
Right. Her breast. Talking about his 6-year-old. I don't know if she's gonna have her mom's breast. Who says that shit, Tim?
Yeah, I'm actually looking at some of the clips while you're talking. I mean, it's so many. Yeah, it's probably a good half a dozen things he said in different interviews. Yeah, it is hard to look at all that and say, no, he ain't on the list. I'm not saying he is on the list, but yeah, I get to walk like a duck, talk like a duck approach. I mean, if I've been talking about robbing banks and how I could get away with it for the last 10 years, and the bank gets robbed down the street from my crib, it's hard to suggest, no, ain't no way in the world he would have done it. No, I mean, he said a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, maybe somebody else. But here's the thing. Yeah. This is what bothers me about these kind of subjects when we talk about humanity and cruelty. You know how I feel about this stuff. At a foundational level, we have to all understand that humanity should come first. And then all the other shit is nuances to me. That's how I look at it, right? Okay. So if they really care about kids, there's enough evidence, whether you're circumstantial or not, to say that it's more than likely that he has done these things, and that matters to us. But now he's denying that the shit even exists. Like Stick said earlier, you can't have all of it. You can't say. You got to remember, they paraded that shit up there with the bankers boxes. Remember that shit? They had all the bankers boxes. They were wheeling in and the files, and they did this whole circus about this shit. And I say they're on my desk. That's again.
Yeah, and that's why I said it is that You know, that's the reason why Biden is not getting hammered over this stuff like Trump is. Trump made a spectacle out of it that he didn't need to do. He led people to believe they actually had plenty of information. And then once time started going by and people started, just like JFK and MLK, they've also promised to release that stuff. So we could have another argument come forward. Like, you promised to show people stuff that they've been waiting decades, if not generations, to see, and now you're not delivering on us any of this stuff because not they haven't told us when the JFK or MLK stuff is coming out either.
And that shit ain't coming out. And the last thing, because I know you got to move it on.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this to MAGA. And I mean this sincerely. You guys are listening to him call you the things that he called us. You guys are listening to him say things like, now his supporters are weaklings, those weak ones, right? He's saying things to you that you didn't think he would say to you, right? Because it wasn't hurting you. Now he's saying them back to you and you're surprised. I don't feel sorry for them ignoring it because it was hurting other people. But now you're dealing with the very thing that you created, right?
Yeah.
You're trying to put this bull back in the car, but it wasn't that big when it got out. You guys made it this big. You guys strengthened this bull. You guys fed it. You guys nurtured it. You guys petted it. And now that it's growing horns and they're facing you, you want to put it back in the car. It's too late.
Fair enough. Mike, appreciate you coming through.
All right, bro.
All right. And by the way, just for some of you folks that may have heard that conversation and are wondering, the hell are we talking about? Trump never said any of that kind of shit. Why are you suggesting that he would ever be on the Epstein list? Real quick, I'm going to go back to taking callers. By the way, tap the screen, get us on up to 50,000 in the like category. Couple clips. These are all fairly brief. This is Trump passing what looks to be a girl of about 10 years old and on an escalator. So this is a total stranger. She's going up and he's going down or vice versa. They're on different sides of the escalator and he's looking at her and making a suggestion that in about 10 years he will be dating her. You know why? A man that probably this is in 1992. So you're talking 30 years, 35 years ago almost. So how old would Trump have been in 1992 saying this to somebody that looks like they're about 10?
You're going up the escalator? I'm going to be dating her in 10 years. Can you go?
You can hear her voice. She said, you hear the yes she says, you can tell she is really young.
Thursday night. You're going up the escalator? I'm going to be dating her in 10 years. Can you go?
I mean, so what is Trump, 79 now? So you take 30 some odd years. I mean, he had the late 30s, 40s at least. I mean, just to make sure you hear that so you know that people are not just saying this stuff about him for no reason at all. This is President Trump himself. I don't know what I'm doing with my audio, but
just a day after the Washington Post obtained video of Donald Trump making vulgar comments about sexually assaulting women into a hot mic, newly uncovered audio from Howard Stern's radio show is adding more fuel to the fire. The audio, uncovered by CNN, is just the latest uncomfortable statement Trump has made about his daughter during a March 2000...
Okay, I'm not going to listen to her rhetoric. I'm trying to have the clip ready. The clip is available, so I'm going to make that clear. I don't want to hear somebody explain it. It's his voice.
It's the lost Donald Trump video that has people talking. Trump and then-wife Marla Maples appeared on the TV show Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous back in 1994. Host Robin Leach asked about their daughter Tiffany, who was then just a year old.
Now, Donald, what does Tiffany have of yours and what does Tiffany have of Marla's?
Well, I think that she's got a lot of moral. She's really a beautiful baby, and she's got Marla's legs. We don't know whether or not she's got this part yet, but time will tell.
Daily Show host Trevor Noah dug up the long-forgotten footage.
I'm pretty sure no.
And so he's talking about his 1-year-old daughter having the legs of the mom and saying he don't know what kind of breast she's going to have on a 1 year. I don't, like I said, I'm just simply saying, there's no way to know if Trump's on this list, and I'm not going to say he's on the list, but I'm just simply saying that there's enough orbiting around him that I'd have to wonder why anybody would feel confident saying he's not on the list. And then, of course, now you hear him being very flaky about whether a list exists at all. And I didn't even show you all the videos that you've probably seen of him hanging around Epstein. There are plenty of photos of him hanging around Epstein where young girls were in the photos. We've seen plenty of photos of Biden sniffing hair. You didn't dismiss that. So why are you dismissing Trump hanging around what is a convicted, you know what? Anyway, looking in the comments here, y'all voted for it quiet as hell now, says Mike. Well, I had a viewer say, I mean, I think still, most Trump supporters are still fairly happy with the work of Trump, and they're not, they don't regret their vote for Trump. So we'll leave it at that. But most of the Trump supporters, while they're not a fan of him playing games with the Epstein list, look, whether he's on the list or not, whether he's hiding people who should be brought to justice or not, it's not a deal breaker. I think that's pretty clear that, when I say a deal breaker, I'm not expecting MAGA to ditch Trump and get with a fucking liberal. I'm not expecting that. I'm saying if you had to ditch Trump and pick Ron DeSantis, or you had to pick Ted Cruz, I still think they would choose Trump. So the point I'm making is, whether he is on the list and actually abused a child, or he's simply refusing to make the list public in defense of someone else that abused a child, that's not a deal breaker for his supporters. They still would elect him. Price of eggs, the economy, and price of fuel is apparently more important than that. So that's what I'm saying. Anyway, looking in the comments, though, this is the man that can declassify documents just by thinking about it. Wow. That is a hell of a pushback. And not inform anyone. Maybe he just concentrated and the list was gone. That is funny. He did tell Sean Hannity he could declassify documents just by thinking about it. And all of a sudden now when it comes to Epstein, it's a whole different ball game. But like I said, I don't think anything he's doing with the Epstein list is a deal breaker for MAGA. I think MAGA is going to go with Trump over any Republican in existence, even if Trump is on the list or defended people on the list that should be prosecuted. It's not a deal breaker. Real quick in the comments, we don't support pedos, says Easy. No, you don't. I'm not saying any MAGA supports a pedo. I'm simply saying you support Trump more than bringing them to justice. I believe that. Because I think most MAGA acknowledge, at least in some part or another, Trump is lying about this list. Most MAGA believe a list exists, and Trump is not being honest about it. Why would he lie about a list that actually existed, other than either he's on it or somebody else is on it that he wants to protect? That's the only two reasons you would do that. So it's not a deal breaker. It is not a deal breaker. MAGA think we support Biden like they support Trump. Yeah, that ain't true at all. Biden did not have anywhere near the liberal support and adoration that Trump has from the Republicans. It's not even night and day. Obama, who was favored by the liberals more than Biden, Obama did not have the love and adoration from liberals like Trump has from MAGA and the Republicans. I haven't seen any president in my lifetime have as much power that Trump has. So no, I don't think any of them. Release the Epstein file, says William. We'll see. When will Trump release the Epstein file? My guess is that's not going to happen. Didn't Biden have access to the list? Well, that's the problem. Only one. If no list existed, then how could Biden have access to it? See, this is the problem what happens when Trump is lying about stuff. You can't accuse Obama or Biden of making up the list and then say the list doesn't exist. One or the other has to be a lie. You can't say it's on your desk and then later on come and say one doesn't exist. I mean, there's so many lies that they've told in regards to this that no matter what they say today, it's probably going to counter something they said previously because they've lied and finagled it so much. How about Democrat Epstein files? Huh? How about them Epstein files? Well, and I don't think this is going to go away. Sir, I don't think the liberals are going to let it go away. The liberals finally have an issue where it does seem that, because Trump has been Teflon Don. Trump has been Teflon Don. And this is one of those scenes for you folks that are old enough, my Gen X viewers. Remember the movie Predator with Schwarzenegger, where finally he hit the predator or whatever, and there's this green leafy shit all over. And what it's worse than they can say, if it bleeds, we can kill it. Finally, the Democrats have found what they probably believe is a way to wound Trump. In other words, his shield of armor is not completely impenetrable. They found a way to make him leak a little. Like I said, they're not going to leave Trump and go to a fucking liberal, but it does show that there is a way to put a wedge between Trump and his supporters. Let me go ahead and continue on with the program. Dencal, good evening. Welcome to the show. You can't argue against being a pedo sympathizer if you let things go. That is true. I agree with you 100%, DJ. Dencal, good evening.
Good evening. Good evening.
Hey, should we stop talking about this shit?
Hell no. Let's keep talking. Look, the man got on True Social and called his supporters stupid and weaklings, bro. We can't let that slide. He called them stupid over this Easting bullshit.
Yeah, but what about like what Morgan Freeman said about racism? Best way to make racism go away, stop talking about it. Best way to make this go away, stop talking about it.
Right, but the one thing about this is, I hear what you're saying about, this is a thing that the Democrats are not letting go. It's the Republicans that ain't letting it go. Yeah. You even got Mike Johnson talking about we talking about leaders in the Senate, and then it's Republicans that are like, well, we can't.
How long though before Trump starts launching? Because Trump, if you get in his way, he normally will start launching an attack against you. How long before Trump starts attacking the likes of Megyn Kelly or Candace Owens? Because they're all over social media. I'm sure Trump watches a lot of social media, a lot of far-right social media. You can't turn hardly anywhere without somebody criticizing him about this. How long before he start attacking them?
I don't know if that strategy is going to work, man. It's too many of them.
Wow.
It's too many. All of those people that went to the White House and were given those white binders by Bondi, who walked outside flashing them things around. This is what did they say? This was the first edition. There's many more to come, and those people looked through that shit and was like, all of this, this all bullshit. Mm-hmm. So now all of those MAGA supporters, podcasters, Joe Rogan, I know he's already been affected by Trump, but he's out there saying, nah, this bullshit. Wow. Hell, you got the guy, you got Bongino in the government who knows what's in the shit, about to just quit.
Do you think he's actually going to do that? Because he did run a podcast where he was really critical on the whole Epstein thing. Now that made you number 2 at the FBI. You should have access to something. You in second place at the FBI. You can't get something. So does he stay in there with Trump saying this shit about it doesn't exist in all of this?
Look, they put the full court press on him. They had Trump, they had Bondi, they had every right winger that would back Trump up, call this guy and calm him down and got him to come back to work. I don't know how he's going to spin this because, with his podcast, he was on many times saying, I'm like a bulldog on this. I'm never going to let this go.
Yeah.
So if he turns around, and he can now. He's got the position. He doesn't have to honor none of the shit he said as a podcaster. But a lot of these people are starting to lose their credibility if they don't question this stuff. Some of them are flip flopping, like Charlie Kirk. He started out saying this was bad, and then Trump called him. He talked to Trump personally, and now he's saying, well, we're gonna have to kind of let go. And then the fans on his podcast said, no, fuck that. And he said, well, yeah, we're gonna talk about it, but just not the way. You know what I'm saying? People is losing, they losing their livelihoods. And we all know that if Trump put a full court press on you, you'll lose anyway. Yeah. But I think it's just too many of them right now for him to just start attacking them one by one. I
don't know any well-known podcaster at this point on the conservative side that is not at least bringing it up. Because Yeah, you're right. He had problems with Megyn Kelly back in the day, but Megyn Kelly is firmly on the side of MAGA now. She's constantly talking about it. She's demanding Pam Bondi resign. And like I said earlier in the program, I don't know why all of MAGA and everybody throwing Pam Bondi under the bus. Pam Bondi didn't do that shit by herself. Trump's administration features virtually nobody that operates independently of Trump. If you do something that Trump disagrees with, he is very vocal about how you fucked up, and he's threatening you. The fact is, he's supporting and defending Pam Bondi, the one who said that she had the files on her desk or whatever. He's defending her. So clearly, she didn't do that on her own. She got his blessing to do that stuff.
But she has to be defended at all costs because she's the one with it on her desk. She knows everything. He has got to, he's got to go down with the ship with her because she, if he try to come out and start. He didn't really do a whole lot as far as Bongino was concerned. They said he was upset and stuff. But these people that know the truth, he handling them with kid gloves. It's the people that don't know the truth. All of his fans that he out here calling stupid, and they got people on here like Cedric out here talking about, yeah, we don't care about that kind of stuff. And what about Biden? What about Biden?
Yeah.
Dude, he just called you stupid, Cedric.
Well, in regards to what about Biden, I keep telling folks that part of the reason Trump got elected is that folks wanted transparency. Biden was hiding in his basement. Trump promised, if you get me in there, I'll help you get justice and bring these demons to light. Trump gets in there, he fails to commit to his promise, and now, let's go back to Biden now. Now, you voted him out for that reason. Let's go talk about Biden now. That makes no sense at all.
Look, this is his second time being the president while this stuff was going on with Epstein, and now he's saying somebody else wrote the shit. Like, dude, you was in office. I'm glad you showed that video of your boy on the News Nation with Cuomo out there. What's his name? O'Reilly.
Oh yeah. O'Reilly. Yeah. Oh my God, he didn't even know that this stuff happened. And I think a lot of folks, because Trump has been blaming this on every liberal. A lot of folks do not realize that Epstein had already been charged, convicted, and passed away almost a year and a half before Trump's first term ended. So the fact is Trump had time even during his first term to provide a lot of information. I mean, so the idea that you would come along now in 2025 and say no list existed, you had a year and a half after this man was gone. You know if a list exists already. Even before you won a second term, you knew from your first term if a list existed or not. So, yeah.
I'm so tired of people saying whether he was on the list or not. We know this man's character. We know he was best friends with the dude for like 10 or 15 years. Yeah. We got him on recording saying, yeah, that's my buddy, that's my buddy. He's a wild guy. He kind of like him young too. Yeah. He knew this dude was messing with kids when they was best friends hanging out at the Studio 54 or wherever the hell they was picking up children from. We got the documentation from the court case. I think the young girl name was like, they call it Jane Doe.
Didn't one of them mysteriously die also?
Yeah, that was the one that got Prince Andrew.
Yeah.
Virginia something.
She decided to take her own life.
Yeah, they said something about she had an abusive boyfriend and all that. Man, this stuff is just too. Yeah. Wow. It's just too connected. And then we got the 13-year-old who was in court, who said both Epstein and Trump essayed her, and she dropped the case because she was terrified for her life. And then these people running around talking about if he on the list or not. You're damn right he on the list. He's on the customers list.
I'm not there yet. I'm not going to say he's on the list, but I'm going to agree with what Mike's made it sound like. Walks like a duck, talks like a duck. You can't at least deny it. I'm not going to say Trump is on the list, but there's so much stuff orbiting around him. There's no way in hell I'll feel confident saying he's not on the list. I mean, there are plenty of pictures of Epstein online. I don't think there's any other celebrity that is featured in more photos with that guy than Trump is. I mean, Trump and his wife are hanging. Like, come on now.
They jumped straight to Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton. We ain't seen a picture. We ain't seen a video or nothing. We know that Bill Clinton used to be around him. A lot of people used to be around him because he was a high-level financier.
Right. I mean, but not only that, I mean, Trump was also, I mean, Trump don't banged a lot of people. I mean, he hung around the Playboy Mansion. I mean, it does fit Trump's demeanor somewhat, like with the clips I'm playing of him talking about, you know, a 10-year-old's going to be his wife and talking about his 1-year-old daughter. He don't know what her tit's going to be. I mean, look, there's so much orbiting around him. It's impossible to look at him and say, no, there's no way in hell he's on the list. And then, of course, he won't release it.
You almost got to twist yourself, and I know you got to be, you know.
I'm trying.
But bro, like where there's smoke, there's fire, man. I think he could go to court and get convicted on circumstantial evidence.
Damn.
Like, it's so much out there about his character and who he is as a human being to assume that he was around all of this stuff, but he was not indulging while everybody else was indulging. And he out there talking about, even Michael Cohen. Michael Cohen said that he went to his house one time and he said the kids were out in the back swimming. And he said Trump was back there talking about, asked him, who is that? Looking at the little kids swimming. And he said it was his daughter. He said he had to tell Trump it was his daughter. He was like, man, don't do that. That's my kid. And he told me he regretted it because he should have punched him in the face. Dude, he's been doing this for decades.
But let me ask you this, because this is a common pushback. Linda Love in the comments says, come on, if Trump was on the list, Democrats would have dealt with him as badly as they wanted him to disappear. This is coming up often. If this guy really was on the list, the Democrats didn't want him to win, they would have revealed it during their term. How do you respond to that? Because it comes up over and over and over again.
It comes up over and over, and I get it, because that's one way they could try to wiggle out of this shit, is to blame somebody else for not doing what Trump said he was going to do.
Yeah.
First of all, you got to understand who was in office, who was in charge of the DOJ when Biden was in office. It was Merrick Garland. We saw that man slow roll all of these prosecutions, and he also said some of the stuff he wasn't going to prosecute because it looked like he was piling on.
That's a good point. The notion that if Biden, the liberals hated Trump so much, they would have went after him gung ho. You're right, with Merrick Garland and Jack Smith. The motherfuckers was slow. I'm sure both of those individuals, probably Mueller too, all three of them probably, if they could do it all over again, they would move a lot faster. All three of them was crossing every T and dotting every I and giving Trump every chance, and they all ended up getting steamrolled.
Right. If they should have started filing charges. But what it took him a year and a half, almost 2 years, to start pursuing the document stuff when everybody knew that from the day he moved out.
Yeah.
So they can talk all that they want to. But, look, I don't care for, at first I really thought, Merrick Garland was a pretty good dude and stuff. I've learned to not really care for him. And it's just the way he did his job. I understand he wanted to be methodical. He wanted his work to be unquestionable and everything. But, dude, not when you're working against the system like this. So that's my excuse.
Well, but I agree with that excuse, but in defense of the likes of Garland and Mueller and Smith, they were going by the traditional rules against somebody who was breaking all the rules they could possibly break. Delaying, telling folks don't cooperate with, when they call you up and subpoena, Trump was telling people don't cooperate with that. I mean, you don't normally expect a person to do that. Trump did a lot of things. To me, Trump was like a person getting in a boxing ring and was biting and eye gouging and everything. If the referee don't say anything about this person biting and eye gouging, unless you start doing that, you're going to lose. And that's what happened, is that Trump started doing all kinds of things that nobody expected from a president or from somebody dealing with this shit. And by the time they realized we need a different strategy or something like that, it was too late. Not to mention the Supreme Court giving them immunity as well.
Right. They were probably, I'm sure they had the same pressures as everybody else would have. Yes, it's some very famous and some powerful people on that list. We know that. But nobody in Biden's administration ever said we gonna break up the what do they call it, the deep state and all. Yeah. Trump was the one who came out and said that. So don't be asking why the people you've been calling the deep state didn't do it. What rationale does Trump have to not do it, since he is I'm gonna get rid of the deep state?
Yeah, I don't disagree. Trump's mouth is what brought it on himself. If he had took the quiet approach on this Epstein shit like Biden did, you would still have some podcasters out there saying stuff, but it would not have ballooned anywhere near this level. Trump promising to give these folks what they actually wanted is what caused all of this. And, well, I mean, because he could have, when Biden was in office, considering that he had assets for a year and a half, to what happened. He could have told folks during the Biden administration, there's nothing there. You don't wait till 2025 to tell people no list exists when you know they've been dying for this shit throughout Biden's administration.
Right. I mean, why would you allow your people to go on these podcasts hyping this stuff up? Because we know Trump, if he don't like you saying shit, he gonna let you know. Like, you might have said it one time, but his whole entire cabinet was out there saying this shit. Not just one dude. I mean, everybody.
And then, of course, what makes it worse is if you know you ain't gonna come clean, why would you put the ones who want the information the most on your administration? I mean, that makes no sense at all.
I think he overestimated his control or power over people, because what he's doing now is looking real desperate. When you get on True Social and call your supporters stupid, and if you don't stop talking about this, I ain't your friend no more, kind of shit.
Yeah, and he's saying that about people that all of them have millions of supporters each. I mean, the Candace Owens, the Megan Kelly, each one of them folks got millions of people that support their shit.
He's talking about Gen X. He's talking about the people. He's talking about MAGA React. He's talking about the people on the ground level. He calling them weaklings. He ain't just talking about podcasters. He like anybody who won't stop talking about this stuff, y'all ain't down with me no more.
Well, fact is, he don't have to run for a third term. He's already got what he wants, just like with Elon Musk. Fuck your electric car. Thanks for the $350. I got him moving on, though, Dencal. That's what I believe. Once he's got what he wants, he don't care how you feel about it. Thanks for coming through.
All right.
Appreciate it. All right, moving on with the program. Real quick, I want to respond to a couple super chats. Will G's tells me, gotta love Tim for fluffing on Black Wall Street. I didn't fluff on Black Wall Street. I got educated on it. And I conceded the point immediately on Black Wall Street. So I didn't fluff. He also says, Trump ain't shit. Will G says, Trump ain't shit. Flip-flopping is scheduled and MAGA will follow along with him. That doesn't seem to be happening, though, Will. Says MAGA ain't shit. Says this MAGA isn't trying to acknowledge MAGA anyone. They asked in your debate, what is MAGA? Well, there are plenty of MAGA that are upset with what Trump has done. Because I think we're at a point where it's undeniable when it comes to the Epstein list, Trump has told some lies. I don't think it's up for debate at this point. It's just a matter of what you think he lied about. Were there files? Were there lists? Was he ever going to release it? I mean, does it not exist? This whole notion that Obama created it. Somewhere in there, I think most MAGA realize all of that shit ain't true. I think most MAGA now realize that somewhere along the line, Trump lied about some of this stuff. The difference is, though, MAGA can often interpret Trump differently than everybody else. That's why you hear stuff like out of context, or he's just trolling, or you can't take a joke. MAGA knows that Trump says stuff just to get elected. He just exaggerates some of them are going to view it that way, because I kind of view it that way, that Trump was just saying whatever it took to get elected. Now, The notion that no list exists, though, I think that's false. I think there really is a list out there, though. But I do believe Trump was also saying whatever it took to get elected. He was going to, if it took to promise to release the list and lie about it later, he would have promised to release the list and lie about it later. Just say what you got. I can end the war in 24 hours. Clearly that wasn't true. I mean, so I think that the guy was just, like a typical politician does, which he wasn't supposed to be, but typical politician, just say whatever you need to say to get in office. I think that's what he was doing. Woodgie says, Congress tried to bring up a vote and force the attorney general to release the files. All Republicans voted no. Yes, I did hear that the other day, that the Republicans blocked the release of the files concerning Epstein. In defense of MAGA, there is the claim that the Democrats in that vote had it written so that they would control how the questions were asked and things like that. So the Republicans did not want the Democrats to control the narrative, so they voted no against releasing the files. That's where I would say in defense of MAGA. But the easy criticism is, okay, you don't like the way the Democrats wanted the files released. You have all the power in the House right now. Take that portion out and repass the bill. The Democrats can't even stop you. You got all the power. So the Republican Congress, if they really wanted the files to be released, they could do the same thing the Democrats tried to do and succeed because they got all the numbers. So clearly the Republican members of Congress aren't exactly excited about getting this stuff out either because Trump doesn't want it out. Woodgie says FBI director is ready to resign over the bullshit. Yeah, you're talking about Dan Bongino. We'll see if he does. Trump is calling a lot of these people behind the scenes and making promises and threats. So a lot of these folks are telling people in public how they feel. Then the next time you hear from them, they're changing their mind because Trump is calling these people. Let me go back to the box. Tap the screen, get us on up to about 60,000, if you will. We don't block, ban, or censor here. What else get in comments here? Trump is a pedo in Epstein's book. Yeah, Epstein fucked up. I'm going to say, if Epstein had not had that brief period where he was with Trump doing awful shit in Doge that a lot of Americans don't like, Epstein would be in a really good position of power right now. But the problem is, people are going to bring up his activity for the few months he was working with Trump. If he had not done that, I'll tell you this. If Epstein had came on the scene as a liberal, he would be really powerful right now. He could be really powerful. But unfortunately, because he's now tied to Trump, creating a third party, for instance, is something because Elon Musk is suggesting we create a third party called the America Party. I think everybody agrees that we should have more than just a two-party system. I think everybody agrees with Elon. But I don't think anybody wants Elon to run the party. If he wasn't tied to Trump, that guy could have accomplished a whole lot more. If he didn't have that history of working with Trump, he could have, that's going to be tied to him basically forever. Looking in the comments though, fuck whatever Elon is saying, says alter ego. Damn. I think MAGA has all they need at this point. He's calling MAGA down now. I don't know quite what you mean that. Don't we have an independent? Like who? Let me go back to the box. There is a second bipartisan bill in there. Well, I'm just simply saying if the Republicans wanted those files to come out, there's nothing to stop them from making that happen. They have all the votes in Congress. They could pass a bill and get it through. And the Democrats could not stop it. They chose to shoot down the Democrats' bill in effort to get the files out and replace it with nothing. That looks bad on the Republican Party. Going back to the box, continuing on with Ken Worthington. Appreciate you holding on, Ken. Put the back-facing camera on. Everything is backwards. I don't know how to reverse that. I wish on YouTube, I don't know how to mirror the screen. I've been trying to figure that out. Ken, good evening. Welcome to the program. Ken Worthington, are you there? Okay, apparently my caller is, audio's up. Okay, I'll go ahead and drop him. Don't know what happened there, but we'll continue on. That's not Andy. You telling me to go to settings and hit flip? Not on YouTube. That's not. We're talking about on YouTube, not on TikTok. But continuing on Gen X. Fuck around and find out. Good evening, Gen X. Thanks, Jim. Save it, bro. What happened in the stream? What happened in the stream? Gen X. Good evening.
What's up, Tim? How you doing, brother?
Shit, I'm all good, but I'm trying to find out what is your take on this whole Epstein thing. Trump is talking about we need to stop talking about it. What's your take on this?
You know, I don't know a whole lot about the Epstein files. What I will say is number one is this. It's an active investigation. For them to say no list exists and this and that, I get that. Mm-hmm. It's an active investigation. Your lower forms of law enforcement don't talk about an active investigation because there's a lot of unknowns, and you just don't talk about that shit.
Then, okay, so you're saying Trump is not talking about it because it's an active investigation?
I'd say that's reasonable. Yeah, I don't know for sure, but yeah,
Trump,
I'd say that's a reasonable.
But Trump talks about he talked about the active investigation on the January 6th participants while it was going on. He talked about what was going on with Kyle Rittenhouse. He talked about what was going on with Daniel Penny. He talked about there's an active investigation going on with Kilmar Borrego Garcia right now. He's on TV showing that picture of that dude's knuckles. Why won't he talk about this one?
There's a big difference with naming potential participants of the crime, which Trump never did with any of what you just mentioned.
So he said today that the whole thing is a Democratic hoax. This is why I keep saying no matter what, Trump lied about something. First, we're not talking about it because it's an active investigation. Next, it's a Democratic hoax. Next, Obama actually did it. I mean, like, something along the line has got to be a lie.
It may be a hoax. It may be a lie. We don't know at this point. As far as the left painting a false narrative about Trump calling his supporters weak, no, that's not what he said.
What did he say?
What he said is that his past supporters who buy into this bullshit are weak and I don't want their support anymore. And he's right.
He
People
said...
that buy into it based on... I'll tell you exactly what he said.
Okay.
I've got it right in front of me.
Okay.
The new scam is what we will forever call the Jeffrey Epstein hoax, and my past supporters have bought into this bullshit hook, line, and sinker. They haven't learned their lesson and probably never will, even after being conned by the lunatic left for 8 long years. I have had more success in 6 months than perhaps any president in our country's history, and all these people want to talk about with strong prodding by the fake news and the success of starved Dems is the Jeffrey Epstein hoax. Let these weaklings continue forward and do the Democrats' work. Don't even think about talking about our incredible and unprecedented success because I don't want their support anymore. Verbatim, word for word, I read it from Truth Social.
Okay, but here's the problem, Gen X. Trump is well aware that almost all of the top conservative podcasters have been talking about this shit for several years. Why didn't he tell them it was a hoax back then? Why would you wait till... Hold on. Wait a minute. Hold on. He knew damn well that all of these Bongino people and Megyn Kelly and all these people were waiting for him to take power and release the list. He knew that years ago. Why would you wait until you're in office and it's actually game time to step up and say, there won't be a game today? Why didn't he say this years ago?
And I'll answer that. Because years ago, all the people that he's talking about didn't buy into his verbatim bullshit.
What?
Because they didn't buy, the people he's talking about didn't buy into this bullshit years ago, as you're referencing. All them buying into it is just recently, within the last 3 weeks.
So you're saying Dan Bongino, who's second in charge on the FBI, did not buy into what he was saying years ago?
No, didn't buy into the whole fucking the whole thing about the list.
You're telling me years ago Dan Bongino did not think a list existed?
No, that's not. See, you're twisting.
I'm trying to get clarity. What are you saying exactly?
I'm saying that everybody that bought into this hoax, bought into this bullshit, that the fake media is pushing didn't buy into it years ago.
This isn't pushed by the fake media, Gen X. This has been pushed by the right. When Biden was in office, the liberals in liberal media was not talking about Epstein. This has always been coming from the right. This has never been pushed by the fake media or anything on the left. It's always been coming from the right.
This has always been pushed by the left.
So the left was saying when Biden was in office that there was an Epstein list.
Let me ask you this. And I don't mean to pivot, but I'm going to pivot.
Okay.
Let me ask you this. When Trump was running for office, what was the Democrats' number one fucking priority?
January 6th, they were talking about. What are you talking about?
No. When Trump was running for office, what was the left's number one priority?
To beat him.
To beat him. To make him lose.
Yeah.
Now, you're going to sit here and tell me that when that was their number one priority, when they would sell their children or feed them to lions, that they would not release this fucking list to bring him down? That they wouldn't release information that could hurt him?
Yeah, and I've said why. I'll tell you. And by the way, alter ego. Appreciate that, astronaut. Thank you. I've said this several times, Gen X, is that I believe the reason the Biden administration did not release that list is the same reason that Trump administration is not releasing it. Somebody they care about or know is on it that they're trying to protect. I believe that the liberals have people that they don't want it to come out either for. That's why. So, and if they went after Trump and released it, Trump could take the same mindset of, well, shit, if I'm going down, everybody going down. So as opposed to going after Trump, the liberals chose not to release it. And Trump could have did the same thing, but he chose instead to use it as a campaign weapon and keep bringing the shit up. And now when he's actually won and is called upon to pay up for what he promised, he can't do it.
Okay, first of all, we knew that Trump was mentioned in the Epstein files 5 years ago. We knew that.
Files that don't exist.
The whole Mar-a-Lago thing, yeah, he was mentioned in the Epstein files.
Files that don't exist.
Okay, hold on. I'm not finished. Now, the Democrats, if they hit it like you just suggested, because there's a lot of powerful people that'll go down.
Yep.
Maybe, just maybe, and I'm going to take my MAGA hat off, just maybe, he got convinced by his inner circle that, Mr. President, they're right. If we release this information, a lot of powerful people are going to go down, people that you don't want to go down. I think that's a possibility. Yeah. I'm open to suggestions, Tim. I'm not so fucking far gone right that I wouldn't consider that. Again, I don't know, man. I'm not in this circle.
Yeah, I don't know either. Well, only thing I can say for absolute certain is there is a guarantee that Trump has told lies on this, because you got part of your administration, the files that list are on their desk. You got folks holding up binders that have come from you that are saying information is in it. And then later on, you're saying nothing exists, and the Democrats made it up, and it came from Obama. I don't know what's true. All I know is pretty certain that Trump has told some lies about this stuff.
Now let me say this. Again, removing my MAGA hat. Anybody that preys on children should be prosecuted and go to jail, Trump included, if there's evidence substantiating the claims against him. The second I found out, that is the one and only thing that would make me fucking turn tail and say fuck Trump, is if I knew for a fact that he was involved in exploiting children. That I'm not okay with that.
But I'm going to ask you.
That would not make me become liberal. I'd still stay
right.
Conservative, but that would make me say fuck that man. I don't believe that is the case.
But here's the problem. I'm going to ask you the same question I often ask most MAGA. And that is, let's say Trump really did commit a major felony, even up to and including violating the innocence of a child. With the way the MAGA mindset is, the question is, who could tell you would actually believe it? Because if they don't have actual video of Trump actually in the humping process, who could tell you that he did that and you would actually believe them?
At this point, because of how toxic the left is and how toxic the right is, I would need to see video evidence and tangible evidence of that crime. I wouldn't accept anything else.
And that's where the conundrum is that Trump has folks not believing anything. So no eyewitness testimony, nothing, no documents, no sworn officers, no matter, unless you see actual video footage of him committing the crime, he gets the benefit of the doubt that no one else ever would. I mean, it puts him in a really good position where if you don't catch him doing it, I can say I didn't do it and they're not going to believe it. Can you imagine how great of a position that is?
It's a conundrum. It's a conundrum, brother. I will not disagree with you there. It's a fucked up situation, and more of a reason why I support Elon's American Party. Now, I don't support Elon necessarily, but you know what? He can't run for president anyway, so I do support his financial backing. I think we need a third party.
What about Elon? Wait, hold on. What about Elon? Elon said Trump's on the list. I mean, we know Elon has had access to all of Trump's inner circle, friends, associates. He's had access to data in the White House. We don't know what kind of data, but we know he's had access to enough that if he says Trump is on the list, you can't just immediately dismiss it. And we haven't caught Elon in any lies in regards to Epstein. Can you be certain that his statement that Trump is on the list should be dismissed?
Yes.
Why?
No. I won't dismiss that, and here's why. We don't. If we define a list, is it a list of what? People that are mentioned in the Epstein files? We know Trump's mentioned in the Epstein files. Or is it a list of people that were complicit with crimes related to crimes against children?
I'll answer it by saying this. It's a list of something Trump don't want to come to light. I don't know what it's a list of, but it's pretty clear it's a list of something Trump would rather you not see.
But that's the other question, Tim. Why? Why do they not want that list? Is it just a matter of security for the investigation? Is it a matter of there's a lot of real high-ranking people on there? Oprah Winfrey, Donald Trump, Bill Clinton, the Prince of fucking England. We're talking really powerful people, man.
Yeah.
We're talking shit that can fold politics as we know it.
We're talking shit that can get somebody impeached, perhaps.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe not. I mean, I can't say either way.
You would acknowledge, though, there's enough circumstantial shit orbiting around Trump, whether it's him lying about the list, whether it is him, with all the former videos of him looking at 10-year-olds talking about I'll be dating you in a while, and, talking about his 1-year-olds, how her breasts are going to turn. I mean, there's enough orbiting around him that...
No, I won't, because that's all fucking interpretation.
How do you... Wait, hold on.
Look like her mom's.
Hold on. No. Gen X.
Sexual fucking
really?
bullshit.
Gen X.
Yeah.
You're looking at a 10-year-old and you're looking at a 10-year-old as a middle-aged man and saying in 10 years I'll be dating her. How do you interpret that?
How do you know how he was looking at her? Do you not know that he was just kidding and saying something to make a little girl smile? No.
You actually think a grown-ass man telling a little kid I'll be dating you in 10 years is meant to make her smile?
Obviously, and I've known this, and I'll always know this.
What?
You liberals don't understand what a fucking joke is.
So you laughed at that?
Yeah, I laughed at it.
So if you got a 10-year-old kid and I come visit you and I look at your 10-year-old and I go, damn, in 10 years I'm gonna be dead, you would bust up laughing at that, huh?
It depends on how you said it. Your context. If you said it lovingly like a big brother, absolutely. If you said it like a fucking bald-headed pervert, I'd probably beat you up and kick you out. Although you're a lot bigger than I am.
Gen X, anybody that says that is saying it like a fucking pervert. There's no other way to say that without it sounding like a fucking pervert. There's just no other way to do that.
No, Andy, I don't date my sister. I date your sister, and guess what? She makes good sandwiches.
I'm gonna bring Andy up for a minute. Since you're telling her to make sandwiches, what the hell just happened here? I don't know what just happened. My damn.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay, I'm gonna
do that with gangster grandma.
I'm an only child there, Sparky. So if you're dating my sister, it's somebody else.
Say that again.
By the way, I want to point out something. No, Gen X. Let me explain something. Who gave Jeffrey the sweetheart deal? That it didn't include prison and let him get away with, pretty much all of this. Who gave him that sweetheart deal? Do you know?
Who threw Jeffrey Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago? Do you know?
You didn't answer her question first, though.
So you don't want to answer? Okay, I'll tell you. It was Alex Acosta, who then Trump turned around and put in his cabinet as the labor secretary right after that. And he gave Epstein such a sweet deal, he didn't face any federal charges. He only faced the most minor state charges and got to work on work release.
Yeah, until the Clintons had him killed.
What?
That's Clint's fault. If anybody was going to have him eliminated, it would have been the person that had access to him. The one in the White House now.
Okay.
I think Gen X, you're giving.
Didn't bring it up because the Democrats never had possession. It's a state case. It's the state of Florida's case. That's why when some of it came up and could be released, Ron DeSantis, while he was mad at Donald Trump, released that shit. So I'll release that July 1st. Don't worry about it. And he did. So,
in what state was
it? It was a state case. So Biden couldn't have done anything. So y'all sit there going, "Oh, is Biden?" That sounds so silly. It just shows me you didn't bother to do your fucking homework, and you'll say anything to let Trump off the hook.
Let me ask you a question, Andy. In what state did Epstein take himself out?
That was in New York.
Okay. And who controls New York, the Republicans or the Democrats?
He was in federal custody, Gen X.
It doesn't matter who controls New York, Democrats or the Republicans.
If you're in federal custody, then it's who controls the federal government, not the actual state. The state don't control federal prisons.
Who controls the political party in New York?
The liberals do, but they don't control federal institutions.
Okay, so you mean to tell me that they didn't have more of a chance to take Epstein out than the Republicans? That's bullshit.
I mean, just like
charge, and it was a federal installation. It looks like Donald would have more opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, it
makes more sense.
Yeah, just like right now, the liberals control California, but Trump can send in the military, the National Guard anytime he wants. I mean, you're in a federal institution. Trump has more access to you than a liberal politician. They have no business in the institution. Why are you coming in here? They can deny them access.
You didn't even think it was odd that Donald Trump gave the man who gave Epstein, that everybody calls it the sweetheart deal, a job immediately afterwards in a really nice position. I mean, that sounds like to me, hey, do my buddy Jeffrey a favor and I'll hook you up.
You know, Andy, I never really thought about it that way.
Whoa!
And that really makes me want a ham and Swiss with tomatoes and lettuce with a little bit of extra mayo, if you wouldn't mind.
Thank you for telling me that you're losing this argument because you attacking me in that manner. Tells me you have no answer for the things I just told you. So come on, let's go ahead and Gen X, just say Trump did it.
Just say you'll make me a sandwich.
You are conceding the point, though. You are conceding that she is making sense, and you by throwing a joke in about the sandwich. You are conceding, though, she is making sense on you.
She had a drink yet. Give her time.
Oh my!
She will make a lot of sense.
All right, Gen X, I gotta move it on.
You always need to degrade people. Like I don't sit up here and make fun of you or how you look or any of that. I argued the argument that was political, and you wanted to make fun of me and try to make me look bad, saying I drink and all this, when actually I don't. So the only person that looks bad here is you, Gen X, for not having the capability to make an argument that's worthwhile and will stand up anywhere. And I'm sorry for you. I really feel sorry for you.
Andy, I'm not trying to make you look bad, sweetheart. I would never do that. I think a woman with a butter knife in her hand putting mayonnaise on some bread for a man's sandwich looks really good.
Gen X, good night. I'll talk to you later, man. Oh my Lord. Brother. All right, Gen X. Gen X is all right. So Andy, I'm not gonna disagree. I think you orated those points pretty good. And I disagree with what Gen X was saying about it's even though it's a federal facility, if it's in a certain state, the authorities have access to it. Now you can deny them. I mean, if the mayor of New York has no business walking in a federal facility, they can deny him entry. So I agree that if something happened to Epstein, it's more likely that it was done from somebody with federal powers as opposed to state.
Well, yes, and like I said, Epstein's deal was given by Acosta, and then Acosta was given a position. You know, and then Trump, and I looked it up when they started talking about the Epstein files. The Democrats didn't bring it up because they weren't in possession of them. Biden never was in possession of them. It's always been in a Republican-held state under their, you know, so, and that wasn't on his purview. He was trying to take care of, like, C-19, all that shit. Like, he had shit to do when he got in office. Yeah. When it came up was, you know, they were talking about releasing the JFK files, and a reporter asked him. So it was a reporter that brought it up the first time. Well, if you're going to release all these, are you going to release the Epstein files? And he goes, I'll release this, I'll release this. And he goes, sure, I'll release the Epstein files. And then he stopped. And he said, well, maybe I won't. And he started backtracking from that minute. Wow. And it's been a shit show ever since. And, like, there has to be some kind of, you know, some people that know what was going on, because Ghislaine Maxwell is still sitting in jail. Yeah. And the federal court has till August to determine whether her appeal goes through. And I guarantee you Trump's going to tell them to squash that appeal, because he damn sure don't want that court case coming up.
Well, and, I mean, what about...
Gen X can say what he wants to, but the right is turning on him, not us. I mean, we always knew this about him. It is his own voters that are pissing him off, because now they're starting to see the light.
Yeah, despite what Trump is saying, I vehemently disagree. This is not a liberal hoax. This is the right getting pissed off at Trump for not producing what he said. And of course, the liberals are going to see that as an opportunity and jump in it. But the whole Epstein saga has been perpetrated by the right. They were the ones that were demanding information be released, demanding that folks hold these folks accountable and put up or shut up. It's never been a left-wing thing. It only became left-wing when the liberals sensed a crack within MAGA. But this is created by the right. It ain't created by liberals, as Trump is trying to suggest.
Right. And now everything's Joe Biden's fault. You know, the stock market today is Joe Biden. Like, that man blames Biden for everything. Because realistically, Trump's too much of a narcissist, in my opinion, to be able to accept when he's done anything wrong.
Yeah. He even blamed Obama for his stuff. So, I don't know. I mean, Obama's been gone almost a decade. Obama ain't got nothing to do with the Epstein stuff. He tried to blame it on Obama.
No, like, that man has a fascination with Obama that's out of this world. But I think it's because he knows he wants to be the most beloved president, but he knows who he is. Yeah. Like, he knows, like, even some of his voters voted for Obama and will still say Obama was a good president. Yeah. And see, now, Tim, even you are starting to see people that regret their vote. Told you I wasn't crazy.
I'm surprised. Well, Gen X does not regret his vote, but he did indicate that if there was proof that Trump was involved in children, that would. But the problem is he ain't going to accept the proof from nobody. So,
did anybody catch what disgusting thing he said though? I'd have to see video evidence. This is Trump with children, supposedly. So you want to watch video evidence of him with a child? I was sitting down there screaming, are you joking? That in itself is a damn crime, Gen X.
Well, the problem is Trump has convinced so many folks that you can't trust anybody that says anything negative. So a judge, no member of the FBI, no attorney general. There's no one that could tell you Trump did something and you would actually believe it. So they will only believe video evidence, which puts Trump in a really good position. All he has to do is make sure nobody films it and he can get away with it.
Right. Well, that's what he's doing with the corruption. He's doing it out in the open. So he's like, but it's not corruption. I'm doing it out here in front of you. And they're like, okay, even though it's against the law, they're raking in all these profits. None of that's supposed to be happening. Yeah, it's fine. Everything's great. And I never said I didn't want to see proof, Cedric. I just said I didn't want to watch evidence of a grown man and a child. There's plenty of other proof than seeing that shit. And the fact that y'all jumped to that fact immediately tells me so much about y'all.
I've said it many times. Like I said, if Trump does something wrong, there's nobody that can tell a large portion of MAGA, and they would actually, there is no one that MAGA really trusts more than Trump. And that's a problem. I mean, because if he does something bad and you trust me more than everybody else, then you're not going to believe anybody. So, yeah, it puts him in a unique position where he can really get away with anything. You're not going to trust the media. You're not going to trust judges. You're not going to trust the feds. You're not going to trust the cops. You're not going to trust the Capitol Police. You're not going to trust another politician. Then I can do whatever I want. As long as you don't see it, you don't believe it.
Yeah, and that sends a bad signal into itself, doesn't it? I mean, just on its face. But like, there's so much other evidence. Like, we could get Prince Andrew over here and ask him some damn questions.
Yeah. Good position to be in. All right, Andy, I do got to move it on.
It's realistically impossible to get them to learn anything. But like I said, since Laura Loomer's out here saying that this could consume the Trump presidency, it's the right that's not going to let it go. The left's just going to sit back and watch.
Now the left going to be
Y'all
involved.
have a good one.
The left going to be involved in it because it's fuel to the fire. They're going to keep going because they see they can finally put a wedge in something between Trump and MAGA. So the left's going to be, MSNBC, every segment, they're going to be talking about this. CNN, every day, this is going to come up.
Well, I just want you to see how many GRAPE apologists are in your damn comments. Just saying.
Ooh. Tough stuff. Thank you, Andy. Appreciate you coming through. Real quick in the comments, want to make sure I didn't miss anything here. Tap the screen. Get us on up to about 75,000 in the like category. We can certainly make that happen. Let your thumbs not be lazy. Jay-Z, Beyonce, Lil Wayne. What does that say? Jay-Z, Beyonce, Lil Wayne on flight list. There's no list. This goes, once again, this is the whole notion that Trump had to lie about something. Remember all this? Oprah Winfrey and Tom Hanks and Will Smith are all on the list? Well, according to Trump, no list exists. So you got to, one way or another, you gotta come to terms with something. Either the list exists and there's a whole bunch of liberals on it, or it doesn't exist. There's a lie that's been told somewhere. There's no way to deny that. Pam Bondi obviously told lie. I mean, there's just no way to fail to acknowledge that the Trump administration has told some lies on this stuff. There's no way to deny it at this point. There's too many things that conflict each other. No list exists, but Obama created it. Can't do both. There are Dems fighting against releasing a list. There are no Dems fighting. Yeah, I don't think there are any Democrats now fighting against releasing a list. I have not heard of any Democrats fighting in current times about releasing this list. But like I stated before, Epstein passed away on August 10th, 2019. So the whole Epstein saga was over on August 10th, 2019. Trump was still president almost a year and a half after that. He didn't leave office until January of 2021. So he had over a year and a half after Epstein passed away to find out if a list exists, who might have been on it, et cetera, because that's his own attorney general is the one that prosecuted or gave a deal to Epstein. So he should have known quite a bit before Biden ever took office. So for him to pop up from 2019 till now, I mean, so you're talking almost 6 years. For him to pop up now and say no list exists doesn't make sense. You knew something. And the whole argument I'm making is, if no list existed, if the Democrats were making this up, why would you allow virtually all of the far-right podcasters and commentators to let everybody know a list existed, and they were all expecting you to provide it once you became president? If you knew no list existed, you should have been yelling that out 4 or 5 years ago. Why would you wait till you're in office and they're actually demanding you go ahead and show it to finally come, well, actually there's no list? Dan Bongino, who's on Trump's administration, his second in charge of the FBI, you think Trump didn't know that guy was waiting to see a list? The guy's all over YouTube and social media talking about this shit. Trump knew before he put him in there. This guy's expecting something. Now you wait and tell people now, this late in the game, ain't nothing gonna happen? That doesn't make sense. If you're innocent, you would clear your name, says Perry. Well, here's the argument, though. The Trump, I think Bill O'Reilly said this. Tap the screen, get me on up to 80,000, and I'll take the next call later. Tap the screen for my TikTok viewers. Smash that like button if you're watching on YouTube as well. It helps out the algorithm. You know how the program is ran. We don't block, ban, or censor. We are always MAGA friendly. Been MAGA friendly since day one. Always will be. Liberals are welcome as well. We don't block, ban, or censor. We go left of Bernie Sanders till I'm having dinner with Q. If you enjoy this type of dialogue from all sides of the aisle, where there's nobody being censored for their speech, where you can be critical of anyone on this program, including yours truly, if you enjoy that, feel free to follow the program if you're watching on YouTube. For those who may be watching on Clapper or TikTok, give your boy a follow. It helps out the algorithm, helps out the show. It's funny how close it was to the 2025 election and Trump, or wait a minute, it's funny how close it was to the 2020 election and Trump still lost. Yeah, that is true. My take on it is Trump was saying whatever he had to say to get elected, period. If they really want the Epstein shit, I'll tell them the Epstein shit can be provided if you put me in there. Just tell them Biden is never going to do it. Biden is protecting child traffickers and all this shit. And if you vote for me, I'll bring him to justice. Trump was just saying whatever it took to get elected. He had no desire to ever produce this. That's my humble opinion. He had no desire to ever make this stuff public. And that's why now he's yelling out, stop talking about it. No desire to ever make it public. Almost like Trump's a politician, huh? Yeah, guitar, Tom, 100%. Trump is absolutely acting like a typical politician. You're protecting people who may have abused children. That's exact opposite of draining the swamp. That is the exact opposite of doing that. So, yeah, typical politician shit. But I don't think it's going to matter to MAGA in the long run. Trump promised a platinum plan, never got that released either. Bribe the voters with some of their own money and keep the rest. Wow. If Trump lies about the first, then he will lose his base. Does it matter? Does it matter if Trump loses his base? He's not running again. Does it matter? He's going to be president for the next 3.5 years no matter what. So, and if he loses his base, it's not like they're going to vote liberal in the midterms. They still want the shit he's offering. His base still wants a secure border. They still want pro-life legislation. They still want small government. You know, they still want the wars to end. They're going to still, he ain't going to lose his base to any significant level. They still want what he's offering. He doesn't have to run again. So if he loses his base, he loses his base. So what? He's going to ride off into the sunset, a very wealthy man having served a second term. Okay, so what? I lose my base. I will tell everyone in 20 years what a horrible president he is, if that's legal to do so. But I don't think I don't think you'll need to tell anybody what Trump is like. There'll be history books written on what happened. I'm assuming the Hispanic community will have a lot to say about what is taking place. I mean, you're probably going to hear more from them than anywhere, certainly right now, because they're the ones that are suffering the wrath of it more. And we talked about that before I take the next caller. That was the other topic on the show tonight is, do you believe that anyone that enters this country illegally should be deported? In other words, no exceptions, no disqualifications. We don't care what has happened since you've been here. We don't care how long you've been here. We don't care if you've served in the military or protected kids or saved some cats from a tree. If you're in the country illegally, you must go. I don't care if you did it 40 years ago. If we catch up with you, you have to go. No discretion at all. Enter illegally, must leave. Do you guys agree with that? Yes or no in the comments? Everyone that entered illegally or everyone is here on an undocumented status must be deported. We're not going to do any type of discretion. We're not going to review your case and see if you're here undocumented or illegally, you must go. In other words, deport them all. I want to see how you folks feel about that. What does the Constitution say? My guess is the Constitution. But does the Constitution talk about entering illegal? Let me know. I know there's birthright citizenship supposedly in there, but I don't know. Does the Constitution talk about that from that standpoint? Yes, Trump's skin looks real bad and his dementia is worsening. Ugh. No, there are people complying with immigration laws. All right. So what does the statue on Ellis Island say? Bring us your tired, your weary, your poor, King fan. That, something I always say. There are 3 slogans that you hear from America that are akin to telling a loved one at a funeral, You know, I'm sorry to hear you lost somebody. Call me if you need it. Call me if you need anything. In reality, you don't want them to call you for shit. You're just telling them that because you hope it'll make them feel better during their time of grieving or mourning. I think America has three phrases like that. Number one being, bring us your tired, your rear, your poor. It sounds great until the people actually fucking show up. We've been hostile to every group of immigrants that have ever come to this country. Chinese, Polish, Italians, Jewish, blacks, you name it. So the whole bring us your tired, your rear, your poor, it sounded great, but we didn't actually mean it. Another slogan like that, separation of church and state. Sounds great. We don't actually mean it. Literally said separation of church and state, then opened the Bible up and started kind of writing laws, and you still hear people today talking about, well, it's a Christian nation. They're even not trying to force Christianity back in schools. We didn't mean separation of church and state. It just sounded good. Last statement, all men are created equal. It's pretty obvious about that one. Whether you're a woman, whether you're a minority, when they said that, all men were not created equal. But it sounded good in the Declaration of Independence. So yeah, three slogans we say that we never meant when they were created. And then, of course, we can talk about the national anthem supposedly being all about freedom and them having to take verses out of it because it covered slavery. Looking in the comments, Will G says, small government as Trump balloons ICE budget to Pentagon levels. Yeah. Small government, but we're going to use ICE to go. By the time it's all said and done, I'm just speculating here, but by the time it's all said and done, ICE is going to be able to come in people's cribs with no warrant. It'll be like if somebody calls and says that you got immigrants in your house, they can come in your house and look for them. I'm speculating. I hope it don't get that bad, but I would be more likely to expect it to get that bad than not. If an ICE agent goes in your house and violates your rights by entering your home looking for immigrants, and you press charges and that ICE agent is held accountable, my guess is they could probably expect to get some kind of reprieve or pardon from Trump. I just don't think Trump are going to let these people go down. So that's what I said. By the time all is said and done, ICE is already moving into the category where they're getting real close to having basically immunity. They don't have to ID themselves. They don't have to reveal who they are. They're grabbing American citizens and demanding paperwork, which is illegal, by the way. Nobody has the right to grab you and demand you prove you have a right to be in the United States. They're doing that all over the place. They already are coming very close to having immunity. And as I just stated, if they do something wrong, my guess is Trump has their back. Didn't he just tell them the other day if people were throwing rocks and shit at them, they can do, by any means necessary? Do you think if one of them shot a guy that was throwing rocks, Trump wouldn't defend that? Looking in the comments real quick. Well, you don't have to worry about you're Latino. What are you saying there, nice guy? Like your brain that's full of ice. Ice 10. You guys talking about each other in the comments. Real quick before we move on, there is no Democrat Oh, I saw that already. I want to make sure I didn't miss anything before we go to the next caller. If you're a citizen, why would you care to show your ID? Because it's fucking illegal. Let me say something real quick. You hear this shit often thrown at minorities, but even guys who like to audit the police. If you're not doing anything wrong, why wouldn't you show them your ID, what he just said? Or why wouldn't you let them search your car? You ain't doing nothing wrong. They'll just let you go along your way. Fact is, every fucking defense attorney in the country, I don't care what race they are, I don't care what race they're talking to, will tell you do not consent to searches and cooperate like that with law enforcement. Because law enforcement often lies and pins evidence on people. Every defense attorney in the fucking business tells people do not cooperate with them more than absolute necessary. Don't let them in your house. You got lawyers that say don't even answer the fucking door if they're on your porch. Period. And this ain't just to minorities. Period. White lawyers telling white citizens do not answer the door, don't consent to searches. Even the back of your fucking insurance card tells you don't admit anything to them. Because they can't be trusted. That's why don't ever think, well, if I just let them search my car, I'll go along my way. They make mistakes. They're human. People have been taken to jail because they mistook sugar or cigarette butts for meth and crack, and they got took to jail. Cops make mistakes too, in addition to those that plant evidence. Every defense attorney in the game will tell you don't just consent under the guise that, well, ain't nothing going to happen if I just show them this. You don't know what's going to come out of that. People have shown them their ID. They went and ran it and mistook them for somebody else that was wanted. If you don't have to consent, don't consent. That is the standpoint you're going to hear from defense attorneys that deal with cops in court every damn day. Every defense attorney will tell you these dudes lie, these dudes mistake evidence, these dudes make mistakes. Anybody that deals with cops every day will tell you that. That's why you don't show them your shit if you don't have to. Because it can go, there's a story out, I covered this a while back. It was a Hispanic guy, but it wasn't about racism or anything. But the guy had sold his business and was moving across the country, and he didn't trust the bank. So he had like $60,000 or something like that in cash on him. He got pulled over by state police in Utah, if I'm correct. Speeding or something, just a moving violation. But they asked, do you mind if we search your car? He wasn't doing nothing wrong. He said yes. They found that money and dollar signs lit up in their eyes. Immediately, they accused him of being a drug dealer and suggesting the money he had was ill-gotten gains. They took all of his money and left him on the side of the highway. He had to call his relatives because he didn't have enough money to continue his journey. He did get his money back 6 fucking months later. All because he consented under the guise that I ain't doing nothing wrong, they'll just let me go. Don't ever just consent to a search. Don't ever do that. That's the same thing about letting them in your house. Don't ever, go outside and talk to them on the porch or talk to them through the door. You don't know what you may have in your house that they may see and try to get you on. Every defense attorney in the business tells you not to do that. Anyway, let me continue on with the program. Just show them your ID. Looking in the comments here, I shouldn't have to show ID to the TSA to fly. They may confuse me for someone else. Well, the problem with the TSA, though, is you're coming to them. If you don't want to show your ID, then you don't fly. I mean, you're trying to access a plane. It's a big difference than walking down the fucking street and somebody approaching you. It's a big difference. I mean, a private airline can demand to know who you are before they let you on or something like that. That's a big difference than you just walking down the street and some dude want to pop up with a mask on and no ID telling you to prove who you are. No, that shouldn't be allowed. Going back to the box, Captain America. Good evening. Welcome to the program. I'm not getting paid to show my ID, but I get paid to work. So again, I'm not showing shit. Shout out to you. Yeah, it can go wrong. Captain, good evening.
What's going on, Tim? Hey, man, why are you always getting me kicked out of these lives?
You tell me them fools from earlier?
Yeah, man, you said something about suck my dick, and I laughed, and they kicked both of us.
Listen, you only see me in MAGA lives, and I love talking to MAGA, so if I'm in a social media platform outside of my own, it's always MAGA. But the problem is, they're going to name call. The minute you start, and that's what happened there. They started attacking me personally and all that. So I normally don't push back, but it was coming so hot and heavy. I just started telling all those jokes and shit, and they didn't like it at all. It was fun, though.
You had every right, every justification, man. I was busting up laughing.
It was fun.
Why you gotta kick me? I'm just laughing.
They didn't like you agreeing with it, but I did hear some of the MAGA hosts. They were trying not to laugh, but I could hear some. You could hear that when the punchline hit. I could hear a little bit of a snicker, and then you see the guy's microphone go to mute. Like, yeah, your ass laughing. All right, I see it. But
you were on a roll today, bud. Who was the other black guy that you were talking to today?
Yeah, he was MAGA, I'm sure, but I don't know who he was.
Yeah, that guy threw a fit and kicked you.
Like I said,
you offended him over something.
I get, the crazy thing is, I never insult MAGA other than that one time. I never insult MAGA the way they insult me, yet I get kicked, blocked, banned, my mics get muted. I don't do any of that here. I don't have a moderator. Nobody gets muted. None of that here. When I go to, because remember, the liberals are supposed to be the snowflakes. When I go to their shit, I get blocked, kicked, muted, talked about, all kinds of crazy shit. When they come here, you can say whatever you want without any criticism at all. So I don't know. I guess maybe things work a little bit different over there.
Oh yeah, man, I see it. All right, so what are we on? What's going on?
Deport them all is the topic we're talking about, in addition to the Epstein list. We're talking about deport them all. Do you believe that everyone that is here illegally or on an undocumented status should be deported? No ifs, ands, or buts. We don't care what you've done since you've been here. We don't care how long you've been here. If you are here in an undocumented status or here illegally, you must go.
I'm going to take more of a centrist view on this because I'm not one to say that I disagree with deportations. I'm just one that thinks that it should be done humanely, and I don't think what this administration is doing is humane whatsoever.
Explain. And by the way, Syria just got attacked by Israel earlier. Give me an example of what do you mean by what are they doing that's inhumane?
Well, they're profiling. That's the main thing. That's the main thing that I mean, they're not going off of an inkling that you might be, an illegal. They're going off of your actions, your skin color, where you're hanging out, the people you're around, and they're just grabbing people. Whether they, some of these people just don't have their documentation on them, and they just scoop them up and take them. And the whole alligator Alcatraz thing. They might as well just call it alligator Auschwitz. Like, they might as well just stick with that because...
Well, they're not exactly taking lives there like they were at Auschwitz, though. It's not forced labor.
Yet. They just started. Not yet.
So you think they would be taking lives deliberately there?
I'm not saying for sure, but I'm saying it's a possibility. You start letting these things slip, and eventually things turn into 1940s.
Wow. Now, I will say, in regards to your comment about it being inhumane, I do believe that if you came to this country seeking asylum, like the Haitian migrants in Springfield, for instance, you came here seeking asylum, you're working for some company that wanted you here, and Trump comes along and changes the law, so now you went from here under an asylum claim to now you're basically undocumented and now you're a fugitive. Because as of September 2nd, all of those Haitian migrants, the ones in Springfield that are eating cats, they all got to be out of here by September 2nd. I definitely believe in that case, if he changed the law to make you go from legal to illegal, you shouldn't end up in alligator Alcatraz. That's somebody who you changed the law and literally made them into a fugitive. So in those cases, no, I would agree with you. From the humanity standpoint, is this ain't somebody that smuggled drugs or entered the country illegally. You changed the law and made them into a fugitive.
No, and in my opinion, if you're gonna change that law, then the people that have already been here and gone through that process should be grandfathered in. If you really want to change that law, you should at least give people the dignity of, they've been here trying to build a life. Some of them have green cards. Some of them are here on asylum, like you said. But the point is they've already been trying to make a life for themselves, and I think they should be grandfathered. And I think that would be the most appropriate way to do it if you're going to do it.
What do you think the goal is of the Trump administration for why they doing it like this?
We've talked about it before. It's white replacement theory.
Mm. I see some of that, but I also think in the interim what they're doing is, because a lot of these folks, when they get grabbed up, they want to file an appeal and fight their case. I think the goal is make the moment while they're being detained, make that so horrible and extend out the period of time it's going to take before they actually get their appeals case. So if you get grabbed, you got a legitimate case, so you're going to fight it. So you want to file an appeal. Drag that out so that this person won't be before a judge for 6 months, maybe a year, and make sure while he's incarcerated, it's the worst experience possible. Because what that does is it incentivizes that person to drop the appeal and self-deport. And that's what's happening, is that a lot of these folks are just saying, fuck it, I can't live under these conditions until this long-ass appeals process is over with. And you got other folks, now that they're threatening to send you to Libya or some other country you have no connection, people are self-deporting. Make the process so frightening that people start saying, well, shit, I'd rather just go home. That's what they're doing.
Well, honestly, I think that it has to do with a modern form of slavery in a way. Because we are sending these people away And what's happening is these farms are complaining. These power plants and farms and all these places that are missing these workers are complaining. And Trump has already talked about a sort of system where they'll bring them back on some sort of card.
He even talked about ownership. He even
work for the farmer, and the farmer will have full responsibility of them, and just the whole thing. It sounds like some slavery shit.
Well, it absolutely sounded like slavery when he actually used the word ownership. I mean, he actually said ownership. It came out of his mouth. But how do you respond when we're talking about alligator Alcatraz? How do you respond to folks like Joe in the comments says alligator Alcatraz is actually no worse than a basic jail in the U.S. Citizens go through all the time. So in other words, it's not that bad. Anybody that goes to jail is going to have the same conditions. What say you?
Yeah, he's a moron. quite simply, he's a moron. Just the weather conditions alone is a lot worse than any normal penitentiary. Never mind the fact that you're apparently, surrounded by animals that can kill you. And I'm sure that the food and conditions and prison guards, I'm sure all of it's shit there.
Yeah, they don't get visitors, they don't get phone calls, they can't write letters. Yeah, it's way worse. I mean, you get all of that stuff. No commissary, there's like nothing. You don't get any of the stuff you would get in a traditional county jail or even a prison. Yeah, it's not the same.
And it's just like Nazi Germany. We didn't know everything. They didn't know everything that was going on in those camps. Yeah. They knew what the main goal was, which was to get rid of Jews, but they didn't know that they were executing them and torturing them and so on and so forth. So,
and that can be done by the fact that you don't get any visitors. If you're in county jail, or if you're in prison, eventually somebody can come see you, whether it's your lawyer, sometimes your family members. They can't get anything reliably. No phone calls, no nothing. They essentially are kind of like just disappear from society. They don't even have to let your people know they got you. All you know is he went to work and he didn't show up the next day. I mean, so yeah, it's nothing like an average jail when you look at it from that standpoint.
We actually talked to a Hispanic voter out of supporting Trump today.
Say that again.
We actually we talked to a Hispanic Trump supporter today, and we actually talked him out of supporting Trump, which was surprising because when he came
in what is this, July of almost August of 2025, you still had to talk a Hispanic? I mean, what else do they need to see? What did you say to them?
Man, the thing that I tried to make him realize is that he's not safe because he said he was a Mexican American. He was born here.
He probably really light.
Well, and what I wanted him to understand is that he's not safe. He could be taken tomorrow. Because it's not about your legal status. They're profiling you. And basically what I wanted him to realize, because his main point was he didn't think that they should get due process. And what I wanted him to realize is if they scooped him up and for some reason refused to look at his documentation or whatever, whatever the case may be, it's happened, they could just claim he's illegal and ship him off. No right to argue that.
That's the same thing I've been saying on the program, is that because a lot of folks suggest that if you come here illegally, you don't deserve due process. And that's the same thing I've been saying. Well, if they don't get due process, that means it could happen to anybody. Like if Trump is sending people to Libya or some of these other third nations, he's gotten the right now from I think from the Supreme Court or whatever to try to send. Now he can send immigrants to third party nations. So it's a nation they didn't come from. It's some other nation. Now, if he grabs you, I'm talking about everybody that's watching, any of you that's watching, if he grabs you and they say you are an illegal immigrant and you don't get due process, that means you don't get a chance to fight your case in court. And they just send you away to this other country. The guys in Libya are not going to care. They're not going to give a fuck what you say about whether you're a citizen or not. They're getting paid by Trump to take your ass. So they're going to take you, and you just essentially never be heard from again. He don't have to notify your friends and family that they have you. So anybody, any American citizen, they can just say you're an illegal, and because you don't get due process, you're gone. And people don't realize that until it starts happening to them.
Yeah, and if that's not inhumane, I don't know what is.
Yeah.
If that and talking about basically modern form of slavery, and then You got the president calling his own supporters fucking pussies, basically.
But you and I are having this conversation back and forth, and here's what I'm talking about. In the comments, I think it's Gina Yates, so I'm assuming that's a female. Gina Yates says this conversation is becoming ridiculous. They are not scooping people up and not looking at their paperwork. Holy shit. If someone grabs me, I'm going to say, hey, I can prove I'm a citizen. This is, I hate to throw the word privilege out there, but this is someone not only expecting that it won't happen to them, they're expecting they can talk their fucking way out of it. You don't know if the person grabs you. There are people who have already been yelling, I'm a citizen, and it didn't mean shit to them. If they take you and grab you, it's over. Huh?
What do you think they can, what do they think they can just tell them that they have white friends and they'll be fine? I live in a nice neighborhood.
But see, that's that's where the problem is like. The problem has been since this began. Everybody is okay with this shit as long as it happens to someone else. And everybody begins to be shocked and dismayed when it starts happening to them. But everybody was okay with this as long as it happened to somebody else.
Yeah, like I said, it's the same as it's the same as Nazi Germany. It really is. It's not like all Jews were objected to the initial idea of Adolf Hitler. Some of them bought into the shit too.
I mean, he's even talking about like what Rosie O'Donnell would he's even talking about taking American citizenship away. And of course, MAGA didn't have a problem with him talking about taking Rosie O'Donnell's citizenship away. It was a joke to them. But the fact is, the president is talking about taking away people's citizenship. He said the same thing to the president of El Salvador. He said he wanted to send homegrown Americans down Salvador. I mean, so he's indicating he wants to do this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, he said it about several people at this point, and it actually shocked me. So surprisingly enough, it actually shocked me because I've joked around about it.
Yeah.
But I didn't actually think that I didn't think he would do it so publicly, first of all. You know what I mean? You're tweeting about it, basically. Like, what are you doing, man?
No resistance. Why wouldn't he?
It's because he knows that, you know, we've talked about it a million times. He could pew-pew someone on Fifth Avenue and he wouldn't lose any voters.
Well, maybe it's like
this Epstein thing. I want to touch on the Epstein thing real quick.
Sure, go ahead.
The thing that amazes me is the first day that he started backtracking on this, I got on this app and there was a ton of people that were complaining about it. A ton of MAGA. About 3-4 days later, they're all finding some way to twist themselves into a pretzel trying to defend the dude. And it's like, man, like, do you have no dignity?
I'm getting it now on my program.
It's like they're willing to sell their dignity to support a man that absolutely gives no fucks about them.
Well, listen, people believe that Biden and Kamala Harris is going to destroy the whole fucking country. So they're going to work with Trump no matter what happens because they think Biden and Kamala are just that bad.
Well, they think that because they're racist. And as far as Biden, I mean, the thing about Biden is that one's understandable to me. I can get where people are coming from. He definitely was old. He definitely had some cognitive problems. But the thing is the same people that complain about that don't seem to realize that Trump has the same problems.
Yeah. A lot of people...
He's falling upstairs. He's forgetting what he's talking about. He's slurring his speech, mumbling. He's fucking forgetting things. He's doing the same exact shit. And not to mention, I don't know if you've seen the spots on his hands, but I'm pretty sure the dude has syphilis.
What? What?
I mean, that's a joke. I'm just throwing a joke out there. But what I'm saying is he looks old and haggard.
I'm sure he's almost 80. I'm sure he has age spots. But syphilis,
no, I know. I was just throwing out. That was just fun.
I see Jen Newman in the comments on YouTube said, I saw that caller. So somebody is indicating they saw what you're talking about.
I mean, it is a pretty weird spot. It's like a big old yellow spot, but no, I wouldn't say it's actually syphilis.
Maybe it's just a glob of tanning lotion.
I mean, it could be skin cancer too. It could be all kinds of things.
You're not wishing harm on the man, are you?
Do you want my honest opinion?
Yes, that's what you're here for.
I don't know, man. I don't like wishing harm on anyone, but I'm not saying I'd be upset. We'll just say that.
You would not be upset if our commander-in-chief perished while in the White House.
Not really, man, because it's just the dude, he causes so much division. I feel like it just, like I said, I don't wish harm on the guy. I don't hope that he gets pew-pewed or anything like that. But if it happened, would I be upset? Absolutely not.
Wow. I don't, you know, something I've said before in the program that I do believe that. Remember when bin Laden, Obama announced, my orders, they had taken out bin Laden and people went in the streets yelling USA. I actually believe if something happened to Trump, let's say he had a heart attack or, you know, God forbid somebody decided to end his life, I do believe you would have at least 10, 20% of America doing exactly how they did the night bin Laden was taken. I think there would be people like Times Square in liberal cities like Los Angeles and shit. You would have Mexican flags every fucking where. You would think it was Cinco de Mayo. I do believe that.
Yeah, I believe that too. I don't think I'd be a part of that. I don't really typically attend parades and rallies and that kind of bullshit anyways. But yeah, like I said, I mean, I don't wish harm on anyone, but there are some people that do deserve it.
Damn.
We'll just say that.
All right.
There are certain people on the planet.
Well,
that definitely.
He's looking like he's going to live to be an old man and retire very wealthy and live his days as a.
I'm just hoping he doesn't actually try to run again. Because man, I can't go through another election cycle with that psycho.
Well, this one is going to be easy. You ain't going to have anything to do with it anyway. You're just going to wake up again. You're going to wake up the next morning. They're going to say you won. Kind of like what they do in Russia. You can vote, but it ain't really going to mean much.
That's definitely true. Yeah, good point. Valid point.
All right, Captain. You know what I got to do? Appreciate you coming through.
Yes, sir. You know what I got to do. Jon Stewart 2028.
Hey, like I said, you got to speak up. We're not hearing enough.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. I'm manifesting it. All right.
You sound like a Cubs fan up to about 2016. It's gonna happen. This is gonna be the year.
Don't do that to me. Come on now.
Hey, they did eventually win the World Series, and they're pretty damn hot this year. So anything's possible.
That's true. Well, we can always hope. All right, my man. Take care.
Anytime. All right, moving on with the program. Even if he's on the list, nothing is going to happen. That's true. I believe that. Even if Trump is, well, as you heard Gen X, one of my Trump supporters say earlier, that even if Trump does something, there's really nobody that can tell him, and he will believe him. So if Epstein is on the list, if Trump is on the Epstein list, and Trump is saying, look, I just was on the list because, you know, my plane broke down and he flew me out there for a party or something, and I didn't do anything wrong. There's nobody that could tell MAGA otherwise that they would actually believe. So, yeah, I don't think, even if Trump is on the list, I would agree there's nothing going to happen to him. I think he's hurting himself more by trying to lie and squash stuff. But if he's on the list and he says it's harmless, he didn't do anything wrong, there's nobody that's going to tell MAGA he did, and they're going to believe. I don't care if it came from J.D. Vance or Marco Rubio. They would distrust them and go with Trump. So there's nobody that could tell them that he was involved in anything anyway. So it wouldn't really hurt him. In the comments, CH 1970 says, except Ghislaine Maxwell could say Trump is on the list and name the people he screwed, and it wouldn't mean anything. They would just say that, look, she's talking to prevent or to get a lesser sentence or something like that. She's talking because somebody gave her money or something like that. They wouldn't, there's no way in hell they're going to take Maxwell's word over Trump's. Doesn't matter that she was his pimp and had access to all the girls. They're going to believe Trump over her all day long. How in the hell do you still have a YouTube channel, says Jonathan Holler or something? Because I'm here to talk to you, Jonathan. Why else would I be out here leaving folks like you abandoned? People like you need to hear from me. I need to hear from people like you, Jonathan. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your comment. But that's why I have a YouTube channel, so I can holler at you at night. Next week, he will be trying to defend himself from some dirt that he will start. Well, that's the smart thing to do, Billy Wow. Create some other dirt that's not as significant as this, and then you can start a small fire, and then put it out. If it'll divert people from this big forest fire that's going on, it's a smart tactic. What did Steve Bannon say? Flood the zone. You're great, Tim, says Jen Newman. Thank you for the compliment, Jen. Appreciate that. Thank you. Wasn't releasing the files a part of his campaign promise? Yeah, it was. And now he's saying the files don't exist. Yeah, they were. 1,000 children still missing from Trump's first term. Wow. You know something? I heard Trump the other day talking about 300,000 missing children. And he was blaming it on Biden and stuff like that. You know, I was in a MAGA live where you always find me, and they were trying to also pin this on Biden. And I just came out and said, does it really matter about these children? I mean, if Trump finds these missing children, what the hell do you think he's going to do? They're going to get deported. If he finds these 300,000 missing children, he's going to send them right back to the same impoverished country they're from, where they could be snatched up by the cartel or put in harm's way again. Well, all he wants to do is find them so he can kick them out. We're not going to give any rat's ass about the concern or the welfare of these children once they're outside the United States. If they're missing, it's not in their best interest to let Trump find them, period. Trump is not finding you to rescue you from somebody. He's finding you to kick you out of the country. And if that somebody grabs you where you're at now, he doesn't care about you. So those 300,000 missing children, they have no reason at all to wish for Trump to find them. He's not bringing anything good either. Okay, maybe they're being trafficked or something like that. He takes them from that person and deports them to another country where another one can grab them. He's not doing them any favors at all. Didn't Pam Bondi say she had thousands of videos but didn't want to release them because the victims were on them? Doesn't that mean the perpetrators were on them too? Yeah, that would mean that. That's the problem, I think, that is undeniable, is that Trump either lied about some of this list or he's protecting people that may be on it. I don't think there's any other way to look at it. I mean, he's either lying about it or protecting people. Going back to the box, though, Sherbert, appreciate you holding on there. Good evening, Sherbert. Blondie is the fall guy, but I don't feel bad for her. I don't even think she should be the fall guy, because there is no independence among Trump's administration. Nobody is going against Trump and doing their own thing. If anything that's coming out of the Trump administration has Trump's blessing, if you're part of Trump's administration and you do something he don't like, he's going to criticize you publicly, if not fire you, and at the very least threaten you as well. He's defending Pam Bondi. I said it really, that's a Biden moment. Pam Bondi. He's actually defending her. So I don't think there's any sense to make where Pam Bondi did that shit on her own. Said that she has files on her desk and all. That stuff came with the approval of Trump. If she had said that and no files existed, Trump would have said she had no damn business saying that, and it would likely be attacking her. He's defending her. He's actually defending her. She did what Pam Bondi did is followed orders, and Trump knows she followed orders, which is why he is defending her. Very similar, in my opinion, if I'm going to stretch on this a bit, but very similar to how he handled the January 6th protesters. To some degree, they were just following orders. They were doing this on your behalf. So he's like, look, without me, they wouldn't be in this trouble. Let them out. I mean, they're following orders. That's the same thing Pam Bondi. Pam Bondi was following orders. She wouldn't be doing that if it wasn't for him. He went looking in the comments, America has become a wicked place. Yeesh. So learn to get along and stop letting them pull the wool over your eyes. Slowly but surely. I don't know. We got both sides hating each other so much. I don't know if you can learn to get along. And then, of course, there is just a natural amount of hate in this country. That's happening as well. Certainly with these immigrants, there are people that just do not like these people, do not like them. I mean, you can't come out and say, I don't like you because you're brown. So, well, I don't like you because you're in the country illegally or something else. But in reality, it's a lot of people that just do not like these folks. I mean, if you're actually taking pictures and joking at the notion that an alligator could consume a human being, you don't like them. Coming in the country illegally should not put you at risk of being eaten by an animal. People always say, well, if you went into another nation, what would happen to you? If you ran into Canada, they don't treat you like that. If you ran into Mexico illegally, they don't treat you like that. Americans run from the law in this country all the time, and they flee into Canada and Mexico and get caught there illegally. And they don't treat our people like this. They don't treat our people the way we're treating people right now. None of those countries do. Anyway, looking in the comments though, we can't get along. That's why we need a third party in this country. Well, the problem with that is it's too much money involved in politics. That's why you had Trump run as a Republican when he's not a Republican, and Bernie Sanders run as a Democrat when he's not a Democrat. And because they couldn't do it under what they are because they needed the money. Trump could not run as a populist, which is more of what he is. Trump is not small government, reducing the deficit. That's not him. Bump stock ban. Trump is not a traditional, he's not an evangelical, he's none of that shit. He's not a traditional Republican. But he had to run as a Republican to get access to the money. Same thing with Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders is not a traditional Democrat, but he had to run as one to get access to the money. And you can see the evidence that they're not traditional members of their party by how the upper echelon members of the party treated them. The upper echelon members of the Republican Party did not like Trump. The Romneys, the Bushes, the McCains, Mitch McConnell, all of the leaders of the Republican Party did not like Trump. Same thing with the Democratic Party. The Hillary Clintons, the Nancy Pelosi, they were not very favorable to Bernie Sanders because both parties realized if we let this guy reach the top pinnacle of success, he's going to fundamentally change what we stand for. The Democrats stopped Bernie Sanders. The Republicans did not stop Trump. And that's exactly what has happened. He has fundamentally changed what the Republicans stand for. It is now considered the MAGA party, and the traditional Republicans are all being viewed as rhinos. Looking in the comments real quick, other countries have donation caps. U.S. should too. Should the U.S. though took their donation down to damn near zero. I just heard earlier today that when they canceled USAID, we didn't just donate money, we donated food as well to poor people. We have what they said is, I forget how many hundreds of metric tons of high energy biscuits that could feed up to, I think they said 1.5 million children. Since he canceled USAID, those biscuits have been sitting around and they've reached their expiration date this week. They're going to set them on fire and incinerate them. Those were meant to be given to starving kids. You think the people in Gaza couldn't make use of those biscuits? They're going to burn them because they've reached their expiration date. Talk about waste, fraud, and abuse. So we didn't reduce our donations. We pretty much eliminated it. We ain't giving money to nobody now. Yet they didn't help the locals because it hurt the economy. If people aren't buying from shop owners. Okay, you guys are mentioning a bunch of stuff. Okay, let me go back to the box here. Thank you folks for rolling with your boy this late night live. Tap the screen. Get me on up to 100,000 likes. We're pretty damn close. We can certainly make that happen. Trump okays destruction of 500 tons of aid food. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. 500 metric tons of high energy biscuits that they were going to give to, you see these kids with flies on their face and shit like that. Remember, we talk about a party that cares about children. Remember, the Democrats are the ones that are pro-choice. They don't care about kids. 500 metric tons of biscuits are going to be incinerated. They said they could feed 1.5 million children for a week. Anyway, donations to the politicians is what needs to be cleaned up. I'm just telling you. I had one of those biscuits. They taste like shit. Says, listen, I'm not disagreeing with you. I don't know what the biscuit tastes like, but I would rather have it than starvation. I'd rather eat something that tastes like shit that I could swallow and be done with in the span of less than a minute than to spend all next week suffering from pains due to starvation. So I'd rather deal with nasty food than starvation is a terrible way to die. That's a terrible, painful way to die. If you've seen any of the photos, our nation is starting to kind of invoke censorship, but Have you seen any of the photos, maybe on the dark web? I've seen plenty of them, of babies that starved to death in Gaza. It looks terrible. To see a little infant where you can see all of the rib bones and shit like that. What they're doing in Israel, they are starving people to death. And now, via USAID, we're kind of doing the same thing. Anyway, going back to the box, Sherbert, good evening. Welcome to the program. Hey, so what do you think? Deport them all?
No. I don't understand why we would. Is like, of course, if they're part of the mafia or MS-13, yeah, don't let them in, kick them out, do whatever. But if they're just people trying to work, trying to live a better life, I thought we were the land of the free, where we could afford to let people do free shit. I don't see how they're hurting anything, because they're doing the jobs that people generally don't want to do. And if you really have a problem with them, you're probably just racist.
Damn. So you think that's what this is about? Just a whole bunch of racism rolled into it?
A pretty large amount of it, unfortunately. We've never gotten away from the Jim Crow laws. They've just gotten a lot quieter about it.
So what do you think is the future of this? I mean, Trump has 3.5 more years to really disrupt this community.
Civil war, that's what's going to happen.
You've been saying that. I haven't seen.
Yeah, because it's probably going to happen.
I haven't seen any signs of that, though. I mean, ICE has been pretty much able to. Well, we did have some ICE agents get jumped. They did try to. There was one plot out in California, I believe it was.
Yeah, and there was the ones that getting shot out in Phoenix, I believe. There was, you can't keep kicking the dog and expect not to get bit here. You can't keep fucking with people's freedoms when we are literally the land of the free. I mean, Lee Greenwood would be rolling around in his grave if he saw how this was. Unfortunately, he's not dead yet, but he's probably rolling around in it.
Yeah, but here's the problem, is that with Trump in office, okay, if we do have some folks that start invoking civil unrest out of, being angry with ICE, Trump will escalate that shit to the highest level. Trump will hand them a tank. I mean, Trump likes to win. So if you start fighting against his ICE agents, he will take Tiananmen Square, you name it. He'll go right up the ladder.
Very true. But once they start deporting people that are just American citizens that aren't doing anything, things are going to change. And he's already shown that he's willing to do that. It's just it hasn't happened yet. And now that the Epstein list is causing such a huge crack in the MAGA crowd, you then start arresting some MAGA people that won't shut up about Epstein. Then you've kicked it off.
I'm not sure him deporting American citizens has not already happened. I'm not sure. I would be willing to guess there probably, certainly in El Salvador, there's probably some American citizens in that place.
I wouldn't doubt that. Most likely it's already happened. It's just we don't know yet. Yeah. But this is what's so terrifying about not having habeas corpus or
due process,
due process. Like, you have to have these things. The same way bureaucracy saves people in the floods, the due process keeps Americans safe from our own government.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have put that in the oath of office from enemies foreign and domestic if they didn't foresee some kind of shitty person like this doing things.
But what about the notion that it's the Republicans that often talk about the Constitution? Remember, Trump even sold Bibles with a copy of the Constitution in it. Why do you think the Republicans are so easy to let Trump, grab people without due process and even joke about everything from sending American citizens to foreign countries and even taking away U.S. citizenship? They're not saying anything about any of this stuff, yet the right are the ones that usually tout the Constitution.
Well, first and foremost, fuck Gen X. That guy is an utter retard.
Why do you say that?
Especially for the things he said about the Minnesota House of Representatives getting killed before. And then all of the horse shit he was saying tonight. He's so retarded. He's just hateful and doesn't understand that he's part of the problem there. I don't remember exactly what he said, but he just didn't have an argument with Andy. So then he started going on to his horse shit about making sandwiches. If he had an actual point, he wouldn't start screaming at you. Like, you have to see actual evidence, video evidence of it. That's a crime. You shouldn't be watching that. But also, anybody on the Epstein list, shoot them in the head. I don't care what position they have. If you fuck around with kids, you should lose a hand at the very bare minimum in my eyes. And I've been thinking about this for 3-4 years now. If you mess with kids, you lose a hand. This is the Egyptian way of you get caught stealing, you lose a hand. You diddle kids, you lose a hand. I'm so tired of this shit. If you're in the Epstein list, I don't care what position you have. If you're caught doing that shit, if there's actual evidence of it, eject them to the moon for all I give a shit.
Yeah. Well, I think Trump is operating more along the line of there may be innocent people on the list, and he's more focused on protecting the innocent.
No, I don't care who's on the list. If you're on the list, you're losing a hand.
What about if you're on the list and you were hanging with the guy maybe just for drinks or something and you didn't do anything wrong?
You lose a pinky.
You know you could be hurting innocent people, right?
Maybe. But when they say they have video evidence of the victims and then we can see who was on there, I don't care if it's Jeff Bezos, I don't care if it's Mother Teresa. If they're on the video evidence, if there are any evidence that they were doing literally anything wrong, they lose a hand. If they get proven that they were doing the really fucked up shit, they get shot in the head. There cannot be it being okay with kids getting molested. That literally cannot be the case here. And for all of the Republicans that just voted against releasing the list or any of the files, I really hope they all get primaried. And anyone that defends them is defending chomos. That's not cool. I don't understand what happened to the people that have so much moral virtue that, you know, they're with God because they're the good people, and then to vote away, let victims just rot away and not actually get, you know, any. Yeah. I don't have the right words right now. I'm driving.
Well,
you see where I'm coming from.
Yeah, I do see where you're coming from. But let me ask you, because, you know, if folks suggesting Trump might be on the list or whatever, do you see a possibility that Trump ever could have violated the innocence of a child, though?
Very easily. With how goddamn creepy all of his older recordings are. If you're willing to say you can just grab a woman by the pussy and they'll let you do it, and then you say you go into your own pageant with a 14, 15-year-old still changing, and say, I'm allowed to be there, look at me, I should, you know, I get to do whatever I want. He's never had consequences. Of course he would think he can do that and get away with it.
Wow. I gotta agree with the part about never having consequences. That's a good life. I mean, Trump has lived a really good life in terms of being Teflon and, you know, Teflon Don and being able to get away with shit. He's lived a really good life, even before long before becoming a politician. I know my beloved MAGA is going to say, well, you know, the charges are fabricated or whatever, and he didn't do anything wrong. But fact is, even during his business years as a citizen, he had, what was this lawyer named Michael Cohen? Michael Cohen was fixing all kinds of shit. So, yeah, he's been getting away with no consequences for a long, long time. He's lived a good life.
I mean, he's a spoiled brat, and you can tell that by him stealing the FIFA Cup the other day.
Wow, I didn't cover that. Did you? For some, I don't know if any of you folks watching. I'm assuming some of you did. Him stealing the FIFA Cup. Wow, I forgot all about that. That is crazy.
Isn't it amazing how you can forget about something that would have been worldwide news if Biden had gone up and said, "Oh, they said I could take it. I thought I could," and they would have been calling him delusional and losing his mind. But because Trump does it, it just gets forgotten about.
Yeah. That is crazy.
What is happening that these people turn themselves into pretzels to defend literally anything he does? And especially Gen X. Oh, he was joking. Of course I laughed about that when he said he could date a girl in 10 years when she's 10.
Yeah, that I don't want to... Yeah,
there's video evidence of him saying it. He didn't say it like a joke. He said it like a creepy old man that has gotten away with everything he has ever wanted to do.
I don't know how you could look at a stranger that's 10, suggest you will be dating her in 10 years, and I don't know any context where that's funny. I mean, because that is
a joke. You lose a pinky in my eyes just because you made a creepy fucking joke about children. You don't get to do that about children. And if you think your morals are better than mine and you're okay with that, fuck you, you're going to burn in hell. And I don't even believe in hell, and you're probably going to burn in there.
Damn. Yeah, I don't know, but that is what Gen X said. He was like, well, what was the content? Like, was a you guys can't take a joke. Like, you're telling a 10-year-old you'll be with her in 10 years.
Oh, maybe she was smiling, and maybe she was happy about it. Fuck you.
I don't have an answer for that.
Creepy old fuck.
Yeah, I don't have an answer for why he said something like that. And I like talking to Gen X, but yeah, I mean, I've heard this. That's not the first time I've talked to some MAGA where they like that was like we were debating. I had Twisted on the other night, and he was talking about how awful people talk about Trump, and I showed him the fact that Trump sent out a picture of Biden hogtied in a pickup truck, and that's the first thing he said. Oh, that's just a joke. Like, you find comedy in some of the strangest shit that you wouldn't find comedy in.
The double standard is so ridiculous.
Yeah. You're going to show
it's 100% a double standard.
Yeah, you're going to show
and they don't seem to understand.
No. You're going to show a photo of not only is he the president of the United States, which I guess was supposed to respect the office, but dude is like 80-some years old and you got him hog-tied in the back of a truck on a drawing, and that somehow was supposed to be comedy? And yeah, it's funny. I'm like, what?
See, they can make fun of and play all these jokes, but the liberals actually try and prosecute Trump for the things he clearly did. And no, that's lawfare, man. You can't go after him. He's just got TADS. Why do you hate him so much? Because we can see what he did. Because there's grand juries of literal, his peers saying, hey, there's evidence that you did this. You can't go through, what has it been, 15 to 20 grand juries over all of his different indictments that said, yeah, there's evidence here. You should probably go prosecute.
Well, like I said,
has there been one grand jury that didn't say, no, there's no evidence? I haven't heard of one.
Like I said, the man is a winner. No matter what happens, that man survived. Now, the people around him are not winners. They pay the price. Even Elon Musk has lost billions. But Trump is a winner. He will survive no matter what.
Tim, you beat me fluffing here a little bit because I've finally got to catch you on some of these other MAGA lives. I'm seeing how you talk to them, and yet they come on this program, and I understand your free speech, but you're not ribbing them. You're not telling them anything. I hear you going, nah, you're lying about that. You're lying about that to all these, corn nut or whoever the fuck it was the other night. And you will come back hard on all of them. And I didn't understand what Gangster Grandma was saying with you fluffing so hard. And then I see how you actually react with other MAGAs. And yeah, it's your show, you want to be nice to them. But you gotta push back a little bit more than, are you sure about that?
I do push back.
No, you don't. No, you don't, Tim.
I'm not going to disrespect. I'm not going to disrespect or rip my guest apart. I enjoy people coming on the show, regardless if their opinion is the same as mine or not. I don't tear up my guests on the show. We try to avoid that. That's why we run a civilized outfit here. You don't have everybody throwing F-bombs and cussing each other out. We run a civilized program here.
But there's a difference between tearing them up and pushing back. And I don't see a lot of pushing back a lot of the time, except for MAGA Reacts, but that's because he's too stupid to actually stand on a point.
I push back.
At least Gen X can go back and forth.
I push back on Jeremy. In fact, Andy told me the other day I push back on her too much. I do push back.
Yeah, you push back on everybody else.
Oh my God.
But a lot of times you want to get. I understand. There's not that many conservatives coming into your life just because they don't actually have anything to stand on. And it's getting really sad.
Well, something.
Because they've never read any of the actual laws.
Well, they believe Trump has their back. They don't need to do all that. I got to move it on, though, Sherbert. Trump is a winner. That's all I can say. He is a winner. He does survive this stuff.
He's a little bitch.
Oh, my.
He's only a little bitch.
Well, bitch 2028. How about that? I got to go. Appreciate it. All right.
Have a good night, Tim.
You too. Moving on with the program. Dennis Calhoun says Trump fired Comey's daughter who tried Epstein. Yeah. Trump is transactional. You can kind of see who he likes and who he is looking out for based on some of the things he does. And yeah, there's plenty of that stuff in there. I mean, he's a transactional guy. That's why I often have said that, which my MAGA viewers do not like. When I'm in other streaming platforms and I'm talking to MAGA, I've said that one of the reasons we voted Trump in allegedly was he had his own money and he could not be bought. He didn't even take a salary. You hear that often. Everything that we've seen from Trump shows he can be bought. He is money oriented as hell. The whole notion that he came along, he was claiming to be worth 15 billion, so you could trust him because he couldn't be bought. He brought his own money. That ain't true. He has made it clear he can be bought. I mean, whether it's his crypto, whether it's Bibles and shoes and watches and shit he's selling. Obviously, Elon Musk was able to buy a whole 4-letter organization in government. So yeah, he can be bought. I definitely believe that. I definitely believe if you put enough money in the right place, you can make Trump move. I mean, here's a big example, because I know MAGA don't like hearing me say this. They don't believe that Trump can be bought, and that's fine. But the biggest example I can think of is spending the whole campaign criticizing e-vehicles, lithium batteries, and alternative energy, receiving $350 million from Elon, and suddenly selling the cars on the White House lawn. There is so many videos of Trump hosting campaign rallies, criticizing electric vehicles, their range, their horsepower, just saying all kinds of negative shit about e-vehicles. Elon comes along, puts a ton of money in Trump's campaign. All of a sudden, he is promoting them on the White House lawn. That's about the best example that show he can be bought that I can come up with. He was very critical of e-vehicles before Elon did that. Very critical. He wanted people to have a choice, not be mandated. That's fine, but he's selling the things. He's on the White House lawn saying, buy one. That's literally a commercial for Tesla. He literally did a commercial for Tesla. Got into it, sat down in the car, and talked about the quality of the car and how nice it looked. He literally did an ad for Tesla after saying all that negative shit about the cars and e-vehicles and things like that. Just to ask MAGA, to ask you folks, I'm talking about my Trump supporters, I'm talking about the MAGA viewers. If Elon had not given Trump $350 million, do you think he would have did that ad? Do you think he would have been at the White House telling people to buy a Tesla? Do you think that would have happened if Elon had not given Trump $350 million? Your answer explains whether he can be bought or not. Anyway, look it in the comments. And yeah, you did say Biden could not sit in the damn car, even though I'm not even going to go into that, but Trump can be bought. I'm just going to tell you that. He can be bought. If you put enough money in the right place, he can be bought. The whole, what was it, $500,000 or $1 million a plate dinners he was having at Mar-a-Lago, where you get to sit down. Now, he was as president, he was doing this. So he's not campaigning anymore. He's having these $500,000 or $1 million a plate dinners at Mar-a-Lago, and he literally is announcing tariffs and Bitcoin, or what do you want to call it, cryptocurrency. So you pay him $500,000. You get to have dinner with him at Mar-a-Lago. You don't think he's talking about, well, I'm about to impose these tariffs on China starting Monday. You better make your decision. You don't think they're getting information? You think they're just that hungry for a steak dinner that they're going to come up off of $500,000 or $1 million just to get a fucking autograph? I'm just letting you know he can be bought. I'm just telling you that. He is showing that he can be bought. And a lot of dummies bought that pyramid scheme bullshit. Yeah? I'm just telling you, he can be bought. I think Marjorie Taylor Greene made a fortune off of that tariff back and forth shit. Just announce you're going to impose a tariff. The stock market is going to go crazy. You know this ahead of time. Make your decisions now. Sell what you need to sell. Buy when you need to buy. Show up at my dinner and I'll let you know when I'm about to impose the tariffs. People got inside information off of that stuff. That's why I've said before that once Trump is gone, shit like that is going to come to light. That's a crime, by the way. That's insider information. I mean, that stuff like that, you're gonna find out investigations. I mean, there's a whole lot of things that Trump has done that's probably gonna result in just widespread, massive investigations. I'm not saying Trump's gonna pay any price for it at all. He may be dead and gone by the time. But I'm simply saying he's breaking laws. I think another thing that will likely happen, and I'm speculating here, but I really believe this, is that they will ultimately have to pass a law limiting how much relief people can sue the government for and get due to harm they suffered from the Trump administration. What do I mean by that? All the federal employees that were wrongfully terminated, they have legitimate cases. You know, Elon's firing people for performance without ever doing a performance review, claiming people are lazy and shit like that. Them people can prove they didn't deserve to be fired. You got a lot of folks that are being stopped by ICE improperly, violating their civil rights and shit. All of them folks have legitimate claims against the government, all kinds of civil suits and shit like that. If you make all of them people whole, probably would bankrupt the government. People have been deported or detained. You got foreigners that have come to this country. I think I heard a Canadian the other day came to the country and for little or not, they detained the guy for 16 fucking days over virtually nothing. 16 days of wrongful incarceration. That's worth tens of thousands of dollars in a lawsuit. And they've done that to a lot of people. They've done that to a lot of people where they've wrongfully detained people for days or weeks and had to just let them go. All of them people can sue. All of them people would have a legitimate case. So like I said, they're going to probably have to end up passing some kind of law that limits the amount of relief victims of this stuff can get to prevent from bankrupting the government. A lot of states have done that. You know, when they, you hear, every time you hear about the Innocence Project fought to get some guy out of prison that served years for a crime he didn't do, it's usually a black person, but it happens to other people. But anyway, a lot of states, because them people, you served 20 years in prison for some shit you didn't do, you deserve millions. A lot of states have passed laws that limit how much you can get. Because once again, probably due to racism and shit of the past in the 70s and 80s, you don't lock up a whole lot of people to the point where if you had to make all of them whole, you're going to bankrupt the state. So they started limiting, 100,000 is the most you can get, shit like that. People don't serve 15, 20 years of their life for a crime they didn't get. And you tell, well, we can only give you 150,000. My guess is the federal government's going to do that too. Anyway, looking in the comments here, Biden got in a Jeep, drove the Jeep, and almost went rock climbing with the Jeep. Yeah, Biden is physically capable of a lot more than the right gives him credit for. I mean, I haven't seen Trump riding a bike. He's playing golf where he swings a stick and then gets back in a car and drives to the next location. But we seen Biden fall off his bike, but then he got right back up on it and rode it. You didn't see Trump do that. And Biden is older than Trump. So, yeah, I agree with that. The people who didn't vote helped Trump out. That is true. That is 100% true. I'd vote for Bernie all day, but they keep sabotaging his campaign. Bernie's time is coming. He's just too old at this point. Even though when they used his age against him when he ran in 2016, he would have completed his second term in November or in January of this year. So he clearly could have made 8 years. They were using his age against him when he ran for office back in 2016. Same thing with John McCain. When John McCain ran, they used his age against him. He clearly lived another 8 years. He could have served 2 terms. Bernie Sanders could have did the same thing. Elon said Trump was on the list. Yeah, nobody believes it though, at least on the right. And Bernie still runs around and has great. Yeah, Bernie Sanders could have done 8 years. He definitely could have done 8 years. People didn't like what he was running on, but he could have done it. Real quick, before I run it up, Trump fired. I saw that. Okay, I think I got everything in there. Just not a politician, though, right? I don't get what you're saying there. They will pass a law testing candidates for mental issues like bipolar or narcissistic tendencies. Well, I don't think they'll ever pass a law that's going to check people for being a narcissist because most people at that level are narcissists to some degree. I mean, shit, I would feel like I'm the best ever too if I made it to president. I mean, that's going to promote you into that echelon. So I don't think you now testing for cognitive abilities and things like that. I'd favor doing that. But I've said before, I think because Trump has pushed the envelope in so many ways, there's a whole lot of things that need to pass in the future to prevent another candidate or president from being able to do some of the stuff that he's done. I also am not a fan of letting the Supreme Court get too unbalanced going forward. I really believe that there should be a limit of how far, because these people are going to be around for 20, 30, 40 years. I really believe I don't think you should ever have a Supreme Court that's 7-2, for instance. I just think that at some point, let's say 6-3, which is what it is now, that should be the furthest you can go in any direction. By the way, how many of you folks will support packing the court? Because that's what the liberals are talking about doing. They had talked about doing it. In other words, if the liberals get power, it's 9 Supreme Court justices. Change the law so that there has to be, 15. And then put a bunch more on there so that the liberals have... How many of you folks will support that? Packing the court. Because otherwise, you're going to have a 6-3 majority probably for the rest of your life. Probably for the rest of your life. Make the presidency purchasable. Shit, it's kind of that way now. Trump is just breaking the ice, opening up new conversation that needs to be had. That's what you call Pocahontas and Nervous Nancy and Bird Brain, is opening up new conversation that needs to be had. Now, I think he's doing a lot more than that. Anyhow, folks, I do appreciate the 115,000 likes. Thank you, folks, for tuning in. As always, you know how the program is ran. We never block, censor, or ban anyone for their commentary. If you enjoy this type of show, I always ask that you follow the program if you're watching on Clapper, if you're watching on TikTok, and give your boy a subscription if you are watching on YouTube. We're generally here most weekdays, so you know how it's ran. So thank you for tuning in. Release the list. You're not going to get the list. You're not going to get the list. The list is not coming out. I don't think you're going to get the list. What do they say? They're eating the cats. They're eating the dogs of the people that live. They're eating the list. They're burning the list of the people they Epstein. You're not going to get the list. It's just not under Trump. You're not going to get the list. I don't even know if you get the list under a liberal, but you're certainly not going to get the list under President Trump. And as you see with the Republican Party voting against the Democratic bill that would force the files to come out and not replacing it with their own bill, the Republicans are not even interested in giving you the list themselves. Now the excuse they used was, well, the Democrats did not just only want the files released, they wanted to control the questioning of it. Okay? Then dump the Democratic bill, pass your own, which the Democrats cannot stop, and you can pass it with you controlling the questions. They dumped the Democrat bill and didn't pass shit. They put it right back to where it was, in an area of secrecy and silence. So you're not going to get it. Anyway, I do got to step out. It is your boy Tim, the handsome little King Finn. I do apologize. I got to step away. I'll give you a quick 5 minutes. I got to go, because I got to do something. But King Finn, I did see you there. I don't like to leave my subscribers hanging, but go ahead.
I'm going to make it real quick for you, all right?
Sure.
All I want to know is, what is your boy going to do when Iran come through with that contract? Because it's a credible threat coming through. The whole country of Iran, the whole country, they crowdfunded this. And I sent you an article off of TikTok. The whole country of Iran has put a hit on that boy's head. 40
million. I heard about that. 40 million.
40 million. What are you going to do about that?
Sorry.
He might not get to the next 3.5 years because Iran ain't on that bullshit. Iran ain't, they done had parades and rallies with this motherfucker looking like a monster. They're not playing with him, man.
I think the problem is Trump doesn't play either. If Trump believes that's a credible threat, you can expect us to attack Iran and try to start killing leadership. I mean, Trump is, there is nothing Trump won't escalate. Trump is not a de-escalator. Anything that Trump sees as a threat, he always thinks in terms of victory and escalation.
Yeah, you're right. Especially when he had that fake ass assassination attempt with Secret Service walking the cameraman around. When have you ever, any other time you ever seen it on camera that a Secret Service agent is walking the camera. Don't they usually push motherfuckers out the way to get the damn president or the official that they're covering away and shit? They got this motherfucker pushing around. He holding somebody by the waist and shit. You can literally see that the Secret Service agent walked off to the left and came back with 3 cameramen showing them where to take the picture.
So you're suggesting that the assassination attempt on him was not real?
Fuck yeah, that shit was fake. Are you serious? Hell yeah, that shit was fake. That shit was faker than this motherfucking toupee. Come on, man.
Well, first of all, does he have a toupee? That's his real hair, ain't it?
I don't think so. Just like that orange paint. Fuck out of here. That shit ain't real.
Well, we know the orange ain't real, but people died there that day in Pennsylvania. You're saying it's fake. I mean, there was a fireman that lost his life, and obviously the shooter did too.
And I feel very sorry for their families that they had to go out either protecting or having something to do with injunction of that baby or that fucking pedo, that diaper wearing pedo. Because ain't no way in hell. You got me fucked up.
You sound like you just don't like Trump.
I don't give, I don't care what the hell they think. I don't give a flying fuck. You already know that motherfucker. I don't give a fuck about the shit tater in chief. It is what it is.
Damn.
Get the fuck out of here. I ain't going for him, and I don't care if MAGA don't like me. They make a bunch of excuses for his bullshit, but I ain't giving none up. I'm sorry. We don't like MAGA. We don't like Trump because we didn't fucking vote him in. And when we vote somebody in, the Democrats and the liberals understand that they are hired to do a job. They ain't brought by Jesus. Fuck you mean. That's not the same thing.
They ain't brought by Jesus. Yeah, there are people that believe Trump was ordained by God. I've talked to police.
Ordained by God to save America. Well, if God ordained him, that's real bullshit. Okay? Because I know damn well God wouldn't have ordained somebody on the Epstein list. Sorry. And let's go here. Like I said last time, if the Epstein list does not exist, which I seen Gen X have to fucking twist itself in a pretzel, like MAGA reacts to make the shit make sense and take off his quote-unquote MAGA hat. If the fucking list doesn't exist, then why has Ghislaine Maxwell been in jail for the last 2-3 years?
That's a great question. And I see one of my viewers, Will G, responded to what you said. Similar, he said, if you have WWE executives at your service, you know it's going to be fake. So he said the same.
That dumb bitch thought AI was A1 steak sauce. What the fuck? You ain't heard the president of education? She need one.
Yeah.
What you about? She need an education. A1 and AI are not the same fucking things. Damn.
Yeah, she apparently did not know what AI was.
Why he's talking about best and brightest, he ain't hired the best and brightest for his fucking administration.
Well, I think he came closer to hiring the best and brightest in his first term. What he hired this time was based on loyalty. It's not hired. He did not hire based on best and brightest this time. He hired based on loyalty.
Yeah, you know it. Yeah, exactly. You can tell a bunch of yes men running around licking the fucking boots he walking in. Nasty motherfucker.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's why I said Pam Bondi. With people saying she need to resign and stuff like that, she was following orders. Pam Bondi didn't do that on her own. So you talking about yes men. I'm bringing her up because you talked about yes men. Yeah, Pam Bondi was a yes woman. Trump was the one that had her talking about she had lists on her desk and shit like that. If she went out of hand, out of pocket and said something that Trump disagreed with, Trump would be letting you know. He's defending her. So yeah, there's a lot of yes men and yes women in his administration. That is true.
Of course, that's what he hired. He wanted a whole bunch of bootlickers to run around him so he could make himself feel better. Period, point blank.
That is
ain't nothing else but
that is your
president.
president.
One motherfucker in his administration that's actually telling him no. You can't, because there are none. Everybody walking around thinking, helping the shit tater and chief change his diapers and wiping all the Cheeto dust off their fucking cheeks and their chest and shit, and it's all cool. You know what I'm saying? But I'm one of the people that says fuck that. He's on the list. Prosecute that motherfucker. It wouldn't matter to me if it was liberals on the list. That shit's not right. Prosecute them motherfuckers. Sorry to say, I don't give a fuck who it is. Period, point blank. And I'm sorry. They can all miss me with that shit about, if he said that, do we need proof? Man, the nasty ass shit that he said over the last decade completely complies to him being on the fucking list. I'd date my daughter if she wasn't my daughter. What type of sick ass shit is that? I just want to know. I don't understand how people can defend that. I date my daughter if she wasn't my daughter. That's sick. You are fucking sick. Period. Point blank. The shit makes me throw up in my mouth every time I hear some of the shit that he lets fucking dribble out of his fucking mouth hole. Sick motherfucker.
Well, but like I said, you got to give him credit. He is a winner no matter what he does. He seems to survive. So I don't think this is going to hurt him one bit.
I hope he win that $40 million prize that Iran got for his ass.
I gotta go. All right, King. $40 million prize. Oh, holy shit. Thanks, King.
Stop on the fluffy.
All right. Fuck out of here. There is no fluffing on it. In fact, I'm going to start making sure. I don't have my LED sign on. I need to go ahead and program my sign and start saying no fluffing, because you motherfuckers are getting out of hand with this fluffing shit. I can't even find the damn switch for that damn thing now, but I got so many electronics and stuff going on here. But I got to start, listen, we don't fluff on this program, so understand that. We believe in letting the people speak. And sometimes folks say things that we may agree or disagree with, but at the end of the day, this is a no fluffing program. So you guys need to stop that shit. There you go. My sign's coming on. I'm going to program that to say no fluffing. That's what I'm going to have to do. Anyway, I do appreciate the 125,000 in the like category. Thank you, folks. Certainly for showing the program some love. If you favor this type of open conversation from all sides of the aisle, follow the program. If you're watching on TikTok or Clapper tonight, and if you happen to be watching on YouTube, give your boy a subscription and smash that like button. Until tomorrow, you guys take care. Stay safe. Holla.